So you're just taking the Twitter stream.
Well, I don't think anybody ever watched from Twitter. That's my money here. Hey, there we are. We are live. 1 minute and 52 seconds live.
I'm going to do our intro now.
Technical difficulties, baby.
Nah, Twitter difficulties. Those bastards.
Hey, you leave Twitter alone. There's no such thing. What's going on?
Elon.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Absolute Vodka Live with the Landis podcast. I think it says we've been live for 2 minutes, so you've probably been hearing us sitting over here talking. Something from Twitter was not allowing us to log in from our end. Technical difficulties. Probably Elon trying to get some money. He's moving out of California.
That's what it seems like there, I'm not going to lie.
He's moving all of his stuff out of California for every good reason, and he probably needs a few more billion so he can do that. So he's going to charge us for Twitter now. But anyway, we had a decent week this week. As you can see in the front there, I didn't know that was going to be up yet. We were going to, we will be talking about someone who, part of the family here and family in South Jersey that passed away this week. But before we get into that, I wanted to get into, what's going on this week, what we have going this weekend. The Twisted Tea Battle of the Bands starts this Sunday upstairs at Casey Ray's. We have 6 really good bands. From what I know, I've seen a couple of them, and they look pretty damn good. A few of them I didn't really see much online, but that doesn't tell you anything. They're new bands. Again, it's a battle of the bands. I mean,
That's true.
You could start your band last week. I do believe some of our friends Twisted will be there, and I also believe Bobby will be there too with his band Smother Nature. He's another, good friend of ours here that's been involved.
Alex from the Wild Mothers.
Oh yeah, that's in his band.
Yes,
in his band. Yes, that's correct. So that's at least a couple of people that we've seen before we know. But I'm curious as to some of these other bands to see what happens. I think it should be a lot of fun.
Hell yeah, my brother.
Get into that. But a recap for this week. We don't have a lot of shows. It is the summer. We backed out, and we had Puppy Pals.
Yes.
Joe Morris, and we did that for you, Joe. We thought it was a little fruitier, so
Wow.
figured you'd like that, baby.
Oh, Lord.
Figured you'd like that. But real quick too. Last week we kind of went a little over and got rushed at the end there, and you never got to give your mother a
if you want shout out to my mom celebrating 78 years.
78 years.
Yeah, man.
She's
so
Trump
funny.
age, baby.
It's so funny you say that because today is my mom's birthday.
Well, there you go. Shout out to
birthday
Steve's
your
mom too.
Happy
Can't tell you
birthday
how
to
old
the
she is.
mamas.
I
I'm not good at
meant
math,
to give that shout out to your mom list, but we kind of got over and everything kind of went crazy. But yeah, happy birthday to both your mothers.
Yes.
Thank you for giving us these wonderful gentlemen in our lives and in this world. We need more people like this. Again, with Joe Morrison, we understand you. I feel bad for Joe. I love Joe. He knows I do. He knows.
Now, here's the crazy thing I think about. My mom turning 78, and like you said, Trump's age. I can't imagine my mother trying to pick up a political career at this point.
That's something you got to have years just moving and moving.
Yeah,
and there's a difference between certain people at 78. I mean, you figure you look at Donald Trump and you say to yourself, here's a guy who really never did anything like I did stunts. I was in the military. My body's a fucking mess.
Yeah.
I mean, the man's 78. He's been a billionaire most of his life.
Pampered.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yep.
he's not really a rundown person. I look at Biden and I can't figure out what the fuck that guy ever did because he's never done shit.
Yeah.
He hasn't even he can't even sit up in a
politics,
chair, let alone sit up on the floor. But you look at him and he's just a total wreck. I mean, the guy's like a zombie walking around.
Well, he's 82. He's a couple years older.
A couple years older, but still, that's only a few years. It all depends, I guess, on like where you're coming from in life and what you've done. Some people, it's just natural.
But then you look at the mecca of Keith Richards.
Oh Lord!
Well, he does. He looks like he's.
What's he now? 142?
Yeah, right. I mean, that
147.
That guy has sold his soul to the devil.
Not only sold his soul, but let's just look at Mick Jagger, dude. I was watching some pictures of a Stones concert last week and some video. That guy is they still have that. Remember, he always puts that. He loves that ramp that goes out into the audience.
Yep.
That man is. How old is Mick Jagger now?
Oh,
how old? It's got to be in his at least 90, right?
That's a good question there.
Because this man is still running up and down there like a 21-year-old. He's 80. That's all.
Wow.
Wow. I thought he was a little older.
That's
than that.
it.
Born in 1943.
Really?
July 26, 1943.
How old is Steve Richards?
So he'll be
Or
81
Keith
soon.
Richards, I mean. Steve. Steve.
1 second.
He's got to be 142 at least. I'm maybe 130. I'll give him 130.
100 and 17.
17. Oh,
No, 80. 80 also.
He's 80
There's
also.
no
Well,
goddamn way that he is 80 fucking
Both
years
born
old.
in
well, it's due
1943.
drugs,
No
man.
way.
There is a great. Let me tell you, if you're tuning in, there's a great book. It's actually called Up and Down with the Rolling Stones. It's one of those autobiographies where they literally sat with each member of the Stones and got their, like, I guess you could say, stories of things that happened to. They took those stories, they put them together, found the similarities, and told that story. So
That's
Keith,
probably where
yeah.
I saw the picture of Keith Richards holding Betty White when she was first born.
oh, probably. But you look at when you read that book. What was cool about it is they said, all right, well, this is what all 5 members said. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
let's take so this is probably what really happened,
Right,
Because
right.
this guy went off this way, this guy went off this way, and it's a really good book. And man, drugs in the '60s for these guys, dude, they couldn't move without drugs.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
You know?
That's true. They were glazed.
And when I was looking at him, I was thinking of what's his name from Nazareth that we interviewed, Pete Agnew. I was looking at him, and I'm thinking he's got to be going backstage right now, going, "Hey man, anybody got any heart pills? Hey, anybody got any? Anybody got anything? For gas relief?
It's wild,
Yeah.
man. It's
Where's the Pepto?
it's really crazy to see how some people still hold up that age.
That's such a good book, man. I used to read a lot of those books about bands. No one here gets out alive for the Doors. Great book.
Great book.
There's so many really good books about bands. But that's a good Stones book. But it's funny, man, when you talk about age like that. But, that's, my mother's passed away now a while back, and it's a shame. My father's in his 80s. And my dad is very, Trump-ish. He's out every day, shooting at he's got his own range in his backyard. I mean,
Good
the
for
man's
him.
out there doing his thing, and taking care of his property, and he still does his thing. And he did 3 tours in Vietnam.
Wow.
So you think about what people have been through and what people have done, and to think, it's great. Your mom's 70, 78?
Mine?
Yeah, no way.
Dear God,
right?
no.
I was going to say, I thought you said same age. Too. How
Kids.
old's your mom?
Let me do some math.
Oh, just around
52?
about 52. Okay,
52.
all right. That seems young.
Wow.
My mom's
Okay.
65.
No,
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
she
that makes sense.
She
In
was
60.
21.
So your mom is.
She was 21 when she had me.
Oh,
I'm
so you had
31 years old.
So you had a young mom.
52.
Yeah, she had you young then.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes a lot.
I'm
of sense.
the oldest,
Yeah,
so
that makes a lot of
it's-
sense. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You were the accident.
Not my brother.
Yeah.
My brother
Your mom-
came 10
Your
years
mom's
later.
like, yeah,
so-
don't tell him he was in an accident, but I was 21 and drunk. So.
Yeah, well,
It's a good accident, though. Good accident, Mom. Well, happy birthday to the mothers of Stephen and CT, and to many, many more. Many more. That's actually awesome, man. Happy birthday, guys. But let's get back to our recap. Puppy Pals, man. Happy birthday, moms. Puppy Pals, baby. What a good show again. Man,
Oh,
I
man.
love these guys, man. I really do. And I know Casey's got, Bob Watts was here, our photographer. He
Yes.
took a bunch of pictures, and Casey's got some really good photos. We took some, of course, we all took pictures, but were great too at the end. With the,
Oh,
with the
that
dog.
was
you
such
and
a
your,
good
you and your wife and your
personalities,
kid. Yeah,
man.
that was great.
they are performers.
Do you have video, Case? You want to show at least one video
I
up front?
do.
Give
I
people a
have-
little idea.
I have one of each dog and then a little recap one.
Well, this is the Puppy Pals. Now they were on. I forget what year. Do we have anything on that? What year they were on America's Got Talent?
2016,
It sounds about
18,
right.
Something like that.
And they came in pretty close to the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yes,
know they
yes,
didn't win,
did.
but they were right there at the top, and they're a lot of fun. Again, it's dogs. I mean, it's not a show that goes on for an hour and a half because they're dogs. You can't
Yeah, you can't do that to
Yeah.
them. You got to
give them a little break.
You got doggy performers. You got to accommodate.
You know,
Yeah,
I wanted to ask that because one thing that me and my wife talking on the ride home after the show, when we came here before I even really knew you guys, when you had them, it was probably the first time that you guys did have
It's
them.
about 2 years ago. Yeah.
2020 second
I
place.
remember
Yeah.
seeing more. I felt like they did more human tricks. Like they had a lot more
They
like
did.
people things going on.
They did.
along with the dogs, and
Yeah.
I didn't notice that this time.
And like the gentleman that told me that runs it, he said one of the things is when they do the intermission part, when they let people come up with the dogs and stuff like that, they have to do a human thing for a little bit to get the dogs off stage,
Calm
let them
down,
relax, calm down, so they can bring them back out and they're not trying to run around,
yeah.
trying to candor to people for a little bit.
Yeah.
He said so that's really the reason why they do that. They did a little storybook thing or something
Yeah,
there they
yeah,
called it.
yeah.
But that's necessary. It's literally necessary for the dogs, and it's fun for the audience.
Yeah.
The kids love it. The kids love nothing more but to seeing a parent, whether it's their parent or
yeah.
not, being up on stage and being humiliated and made to walk like an ogre or whatever. Man,
It's true.
kids love
Very
that.
true.
So
Very, very,
so
very,
it was a
very
lot of fun. What do you got, Case, first?
Let's start with Cash doing the high jump.
Oh yes. This was kind of towards the end of the show and during the show, but it's one of the great. It actually is. I think it's the last thing in the show, is it not?
The high jump, yes. This
Yes.
is the last thing.
Okay.
yeah.
Count them down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on, Cash. 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 And he's done it. Let's hear it once more for Cash.
Now, how many of us? Now, I guess I can't say me. I've
gonna
basically
say.
done stuff like that. But you think of the size of that dog. You get up on that ladder. Have you ever
be
been on a
terrified.
high dive?
No.
Yeah,
Yes.
Have you ever been? For somebody that doesn't understand heights. Well, look, I used to dive and everything until I jumped out of an airplane for the first time in the military. I always had a little, it's heights, man. You're like, holy shit. Then things changed. I'm like, well, look, man, ain't nothing hold me, and I'm up here. It's never getting higher than this, So, but when you look at the size of that dog, think to him, that's a long jump, man. And his little foot's kind of shaking. He's like, I just want to make this, And then he gets a treat.
Yeah. Well, hey, that whole thing there wouldn't have worked without us last year, So
Oh, yes, we repaired that last year.
we did in fact repair it.
Did we
and,
repair something else, too?
Oh, I don't remember. I don't remember.
Yeah, they came when they came the first time they came. They had a couple broken things that just got
wow.
well. They got busted up in their trailer.
Yes.
and then we helped them with that by giving them road cases.
There was something else, but I don't remember
there was
what it
something
was.
else that was broken.
Was it the high wire thing too?
It was a metal thing. It was some sort of ladder.
Yeah, that was the high
that
jump.
was
Oh,
the
that
high
was the
jump.
thing.
That was
Yeah,
one of the
and I
things
think the
that-
high wire thing too was like a little.
I think you're right.
But
or
he's
was it the salmon ladder?
the salmon.
Because that was looking a little wonky.
Yeah, it was a little. It might have been. It actually might have
think
been
it
that.
might have been, yeah.
But they So the first time they came, I mean, these guys are traveling. And he just told me that they just got back from. They do a lot of fairs, camps for kids, things like that, Boy Scout camps and things like that. So it's in the trailer, out the trailer, in the trailer, out the trailer, and they're just beating the hell out of this stuff. But when they came to see us the first time, they just had a trailer full of shit.
Literally,
So
just
we
wall
gave
to
them
wall lines.
what,
and
like
stuff.
4, 5, 6 road cases.
Yeah, it was fun to see them back this time. You know?
They
It
put
was-
everything in the road, and now it's a little
It's real
more.
nice.
Yeah, it's a little more. It's a little better in there. It's not the greatest in there, but it's still a lot better.
It's got something going on, that's for sure.
But I remember I have of course in the military I was in Georgia, and I had a little stint and worked at the Stone Mountain Park, and not long after they left here, they put a video up or a photo up on their website on Facebook, and I saw our road cases in Stone Mountain Park. I'm like, I know that place. I'm like, there it's literally said the Landis on it
Right,
too. They
yeah.
literally had,
That's awesome.
literally had the road cases
Yep.
from the Landis
That's
in
awesome.
Georgia, which was kind of cool. But
That's
to know that they're using it.
it's sweet to see. It's nice to help people out like that.
Absolutely.
Every once in a while,
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
whatever we can do with shit we don't use anymore. So.
And the one kid was new. And,
Yes,
and
yeah,
when I
he
went
was.
out there and I said something to the other, I can't remember the kid's name.
Ronaldo and Dylan.
Ronaldo and
Dylan was here before, and I said something to Dylan. I was walking back and everything, and the Ronaldo guy says, "Oh, this is the place everyone's been talking about, where we fixed everything, got the
That's
show back
awesome.
on the road."
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. And he knew because Dylan said to me, he said, he goes, "Yeah, we don't need the banner." He goes, "They got the best screen in the business." And the guy goes, "Oh, this is who you were talking about." So
I will say,
It's nice to know.
I've taken my son to movies. I've taken him to monster trucks. I've taken him. Nothing kept his interest more than this show. This
oh, he had a ball. I could see
he
it on his
had
face.
such a good time.
I could see
It's
it in his
amazing to
face, yeah.
see. You know, it's they can really take over.
Yeah.
They really can take over.
You want to show another clip? I'm waiting for
Yes,
one specific clip that I love.
So I'm gonna go with this one in case it's the one you're talking about.
Gizmo. Hey, buddy. Everybody, once again, this is Gizmo. Everybody say hi, Gizmo. Now, everybody say bye, Gizmo. Come on over, my friend. You didn't even put it in park.
That was adorable. That's
You
it,
didn't
man.
even put it in park.
And that was so cute. And
So good.
So last year, we didn't get the car because they left the remote at their previous engagement. So we never got to see the cars. That's the first time we saw the car. And we didn't know what they did. They introduced right in the beginning. And I told Casey, make sure you get a video. And she was somewhere, and she said she came running up as fast as she could because she heard the intros.
I watched her run in.
Yeah.
It's great.
She's like, oh, my God. She heard the
great.
intros. I'm like,
Casey was in
that's
her element during this one. So
Yeah, it's a puppy dog
100%,
element.
100%.
Dog element. She
worked
loves
out.
puppies.
Worked out.
What else you got?
I got Rudy next.
Rudy.
You ready?
Whoa! Very nice. You can do that one more time. Do you guys think we should go higher? Alrighty. Wait, Rudy! You're getting way ahead of me now, buddy. Go take a seat. Go take a seat. Oh, I know what he wants. He wants the treats. Okay, hold on. Let's bring these up a little bit higher. What do you guys think? Let's get... Okay, well, he's not a gazelle. Relax. Baby steps, baby steps. All right, that's good for me. And here he comes, making his way through. Very nicely done. Should we go higher? Alrighty, let's bring it up just a little bit higher. I like that. That's good for me. I think Rudy's ready. Let's hear it for Rudy. Very good, buddy. Very good. All right.
Yeah, that's great.
Sounds just like him, though.
Yeah, he does kind of sound like somebody I've heard before. But that was great. So if you were here at the show, you would see Rudy jump through those, but then he jumped through a smaller one.
Yep.
And another one that was probably about this big. That dog.
Yeah, I was surprised to
got
see him get
through.
through.
Yep,
Tiny
yep,
little thing.
Yeah. So and that is Rudy, and we all love Rudy.
Oh,
Steve's got
such a sweethart.
Steve's got a love connection with Rudy.
I do. He walked right in, said hi to me. Just he immediately knew who I was.
That's
I was
awesome.
like, there we
They're
go.
so
I'm
cute.
good. I got Rudy on my
They're,
side.
they're good pups. Look at it.
That's
Oh, there
all
it
I
is.
need.
There he is, going through the little one. That's a good shot. Is that Bob's shots?
Yes, it is.
Oh, Bob caught that one nicely.
Yeah, he did.
Like, look at the ring. Like, that dog jumped through that little ring. How cute is he? We can't even
he's a
get our
bit of a
girls to
fluffer.
sit.
Yeah, you got one that does.
Yeah.
You do have one.
I feel like wherever she came from, they tortured her to sit because.
Yeah, she's the most dog of the three.
Yes, absolutely.
In what you would think of a dog being, yeah.
And
she's the
speaking
most
of
dog.
American, the Greyhound Angels Adoption Center was here. They brought a dog. What was that pup's name again, Case? There.
Oh, she was-
Rolex.
Oh, Rolex.
Yeah,
There's
she was a
Rolex.
sweetheart.
So GreyhoundAngelsAdoption.com. I actually had a lady today making a delivery to the theater, and she had told me that her dog had just passed away, and I told her about greyhounds, and I told her where to go and look for greyhounds, and she is very excited, and she
Nice.
was very excited, and my hopes are that a greyhound gets a nice home from that, because she seemed like a
Nice.
very nice lady. So,
Nice.
Nice.
but they were here with Rolex. The names are great, man. They're like
Rolex, man.
I
They're,
always wanted one named
they're not
Santa's
cheap.
Helper.
I had a pit bull named his name was Beamer. I had a BMW, and I wouldn't let it was a 750. Look, man, it was probably the nicest car I ever owned back in the day, and I loved that car, and I didn't want anybody in that car. It was like you got to be someone special just to get in the car, and I let the dog in the car when I first got him, and I rolled up to the
you go.
office, and my buddy Tim at the time looked at me. He goes, "You let the dog in the car before you let me in that car?" I'm like, "Yes." He goes, "I guess we're going to name it Beamer, huh?" I'm like, you know what? Perfect name for that dog. His name, we ended up calling
That's
him Beamer.
awesome.
He was a blue pit.
Wow.
Yeah, he ended up going with Tim. Yeah, because my son was born. Not that he was a bad dog, pit bull, but he really, when my son Johnny was born, he really wanted to play all the time.
Gotcha.
And he would knock him over. And he wasn't like doing it,
Yeah.
but Johnny would like, yeah, and then the kid would, get knocked over. And I had fireplaces and tables, and
Yeah.
I just didn't want anything to happen. So Tim took him,
Nice.
and Beamer lived a long, happy life with Tim.
That's
so it was
awesome.
pretty cool. It was a great dog, great dog.
Nice. It's better than going to the when they go to the farm, you know.
Oh, I would never do
Oh,
that.
you
I-
say that they went down to the old
Yeah.
farm. You know?
See, with me, I would have made it work one way or
Oh,
another.
man.
I would have sectioned the place of the house off for the dog when
Yeah.
or and we did. We put all the rubber stuff up, but it still hurts, man.
Yeah.
You put a piece of rubber on a corner, and whack your head.
Oh, yeah.
It still hurts.
Yeah.
It still hurts.
This might not cut you.
Well, you know about childproof, and it's and how close is your little one to walking?
Oh, he's very close. He's standing up on shit now, which is the
Oh,
big
good.
problem
That's
for,
it.
for
That's it.
childproofing.
Comes.
So
It'll
he
be real
gets
soon
right
now.
over there and climbs himself up and fucking stands up all the time. So he's
Yeah, you
he's a
gotta
real
get
trooper.
start getting
Real
that
trooper.
childproofing.
I'll tell you what, about
He's
the coffee
probably sitting in
tables.
one of those little roll around things right now as we
That's
speak,
that's
watching.
Awesome.
So.
I've seen ones that look like trucks, pickup trucks,
Yeah,
and things
yeah.
like that.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
pretty cool.
I don't remember the one at my parents' house. That's where he's
But
at right
my
now.
son, a couple months ago, he was in my parents' house playing in the living room, and like you said, the coffee table, he needed stitches, went straight down to like you could almost see his skull.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what they do now that they didn't do to us. but it was very hard to watch as they sedate these kids now before they put the stitches in. They didn't do that to us.
Hell no, we used to get that orange shit. What was that?
Betadine.
Yeah.
The iodine, man.
Betadine, baby.
Oh, Lord.
You can smell that coming a mile away.
I just took staples to the skull. Yeah. What?
Yeah, but they didn't put iodine on it. But the
Yeah, they did.
iodine, they might
Yeah,
as
they
well
did.
light you on. They don't use it anymore. They use that witch hazel stuff on you. That's like that was
yeah,
like,
that's what it was.
oh, you got a cut. Well, let me light you on fire real quick and see if now that hurts worse. Your cut feels great.
Watching them sedate my 4-year-old son and him kind of just speaking gibberish broke my heart. Like, he had no idea where he was, what he was saying. He was high as a kite.
That's funny. That's
So you
funny.
say break your heart. I say content.
Yes, you should have filmed that.
You fucked up.
That's a viral video, babe. What else you got?
So I have one
Puppy
more chip,
pals.
and then I have like a
I
little
love
recap
chip.
I made in between the shows, and then I
Why
have
don't you
a
just
bunch
do the?
of pictures from
Let's just do the whole thing so we can move on. Again,
right, cool.
everyone.
Chip is up there
Once
for
again,
me.
Puppy Pals Live. I'm sure we'll have them back. They were absolutely wonderful. Great people, great show. And next time we will not have it in the summer because the summer sucks anywhere unless this was at the shore.
Yes.
Because there was so many kids that would have enjoyed this that didn't come, and we had about a half house, and it would have been nice to have a full house for this.
Maybe
Yeah.
like a back to school kind of September-ish.
Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. We'll look at that for next year, but I thought it was really cool.
So I'm gonna play these videos, and then I'll flash a few Bob's pictures
I don't want to see Bob.
of the dogs.
The dogs.
We'll see you later, buddy. All right, Chip's gonna head on backstage. No, Chip. You're gonna head backstage. All right, Chip's gonna head on backstage, and we're gonna head on and finish the rest of the show. Sorry, Chip, we got a show to do, buddy. We gotta go. Okay, bye, Chip. Bye, Chip. All right, everybody say bye to Chip. Okay, that's enough of Chip. All right, last.
Who let the dogs out? 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 When the party was nice, the party was bumping. And everybody had.
Oh, there it
Hey,
is.
the crew.
There it is.
That's awesome.
To do the tightrope is the best, man.
Yes.
This shot's my favorite.
That's a great pit. Look at his little back foot up in the air. He's
Yeah,
like, yeah,
dude.
boy.
He gets through. Look at him, dude.
That's the back flips. Aw. How cute is that?
They got two poodles in there. They that's 50% poodle.
50% put. Well,
Are poodles good for this kind of stuff?
apparently so. But the good thing is, so they let people take photographs and stuff. They only charge $10. That $10. All these dogs are rescue dogs. None of these dogs are bought and trained. They all come from shelters. They train them. Like the little Chip one you saw in the beginning, he's new. Like I think Casey said, there he is. That's Chip. He's
Yes.
taking over for one of the other dogs soon. They're training him now. They told us, I forget where it was, but he came from a shelter. I think they found him.
They found him on the side of the road in
Yeah.
Sarasota, Florida.
Oh,
There you
no,
go.
sad,
How,
yeah.
Shelter
how
1 month
crazy is
ago.
that?
Yeah, like that's not a joke. Like they
Yeah.
say that multiple times in the show. I think
How
two
do
of the
you-
dogs. They're like, yeah, we found him on the side of the road in Michigan. And
Yeah.
They
How do you
literally
leave
did.
this dog? Or,
Right.
like, as a
People are
person, how do
cruel,
you
man.
do that?
People
Like
are
Rudy,
cruel.
I think
People are
Rudy's
cruel.
one that they literally like found on the road, and the guy fell
look
in
at
love
that
with him
dog.
and figured
Look at
out
that
he can
dog.
do flips and shit. I don't
But
know.
that $10 for the photo goes to shelter dogs and things of that nature and
That's
helps them out,
awesome.
which is really cool, and I think
That's
it's a great
awesome.
cause. Again, Puppy Pals Live was this past weekend. They will be back. I'm sure they will. We're looking at a couple other old of the other America's Got Talent acts. People seem to like them, so there's a few others we're looking into right now, and I think anything to do that I would like to bring more of these type of variety shows here.
I will say,
Yeah.
I spoke to a few people while we were here, and they had said that there is a big interest in like family shows
Yes,
and things like
yeah.
that.
Well, the
They-
problem is there's just not a lot of them.
Yeah.
And then the ones that
Yep.
do tour, are owned by the communist powers of Disney.
Yeah.
And if you want to put them in a venue like this, they're like, no problem, $50,000.
Yeah, yeah.
Because Disney doesn't have enough money. You know what I mean? So it's tough to get them because they own them all. They actually they run. It's called Feld Entertainment. And they literally run every one of these variety
wild.
shows.
Field is very large.
Yeah, but they
That's
run
a
all
very
of
large
these.
conglomerate.
You can't. Good luck for a small venue being able to get these at an affordable price to where you could afford. Because you got to pay for the act.
Right, right.
So if I brought them in, I'd have to charge $150 a seat, to see Disney's whatever live. You know what I mean?
Or you're getting Disney's Pretty Girl and the Monster.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, literally, you just make up some stuff and put it on stage if you want it. But we are working with, we've been looking into some other stuff, including what we want to get into next year is even students, for field trips.
Yes.
Casey,
awesome.
Casey and I went to the Cape May Zoo and found out that they actually do a thing. They come out, they bring animals out, they do a talk back with kids.
Yeah.
And they talk about animals and habitats and stuff like that. And
I
it's
loved
very
those as a
educational.
kid. They were always
I
like
did
the
too.
good. They were the good assemblies.
We used to always have.
And then it'd be followed up like, don't do drugs, kids,
they,
you'll
like,
die
brought
in a
the-
gutter.
We had two
They
big
brought
ones.
the owl.
We had a dinosaur guy that would always come.
Yes.
And we had a scientist guy that would always
Yep,
come.
yep.
And we didn't have like a 4K screen where we could use a camera and
Right,
really show
right.
people what they're doing, As
Just
a kid,
overheads.
yeah, you were waiting for the bubbles to come up, and say, oh yeah.
Oh, overhead projector that tells you what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't
exactly.
show you though, but it'll tell you
So-
on some transparency.
So we're working on that as well too. So if you are in the Vineland area, which is an amazing area here, it's a lot going on. I have another Saturday City meeting today. We have another big announcement coming. We got a lot of stuff going on in this city, and it's all really, really good stuff. And I'm excited to be a part of what's going on here. It's funny, you find a place and you don't know what's going to happen, and then all of a sudden, things are really good. Again, I love the city. I think there's a lot of great people involved. There's a lot of naysayers. Everyone's like, oh, not those guys again, not those Landis guys, blah, 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 blah. And it's only, and you know what it is? I look at it, and you know what I say? It's just jealousy, man.
Yeah,
It's
it
just
really
jealousy.
is.
This place sat for almost 11 years before we came in here and did nothing.
Yep.
Did nothing, but was a burden on the city, didn't make any money, cost them thousands, hundreds of thousands a year to maintain. It was falling apart. Roof was leaking. They had put like almost 11 million into a renovation. Roofs were leaking, lights were broken, electricity was bad. It was just bad. We came in between myself, Steve, Casey, and Andy, and a couple others that have helped us along the way, and we have revitalized this place and made it into a place that people talk about in California now.
Yeah, yeah.
Saying, hey, man, we got to play that Landis,
Yep.
I mean, we have bands that are asking us, and of course they come in and going, yeah, we'd love to play the venue. We saw a bunch of videos. We're $100,000. I'm like, yeah, not here. But
Not here, you're not.
But the point is, people want to play here. And what
Right.
happens with those bands, once they get to a point where they've milked everybody they can milk, they're going to go, we should start playing some of these smaller venues. Let's go to that Landis place.
Now, here's the question I have as far as a small venue and just things that I notice as a fan of music is I notice that a lot of times when you get some of the bigger, real big names that come through small venues or even the casinos, and tickets are astronomical. They're
Yeah.
$300, $400, $500 a ticket.
Yep.
Is that like, as an owner, I'm sure that like there's no desire on your part to want to charge people that kind of
Well,
price.
you can't, and that's the problem. Is again, we could bring in any act you want to see. Are you willing to pay the ticket price? And again, we're not making money off these tickets. All right, we barely pay our bills with the tickets. And that when I say bills for that show, which is staffing, expendables, electric, everything for that show. But what we make money on that we use to make things better are our concessions.
Right.
And as you can see, we don't put the money in our pockets. We put new lights in. We put new screens in. We put new things in. We're always trying to better the place so we can get to a point where people are like, look, why would you go to another theater when you can see them here for probably a lesser price, and I will tell you, we are a lesser price than our competing theater down the street that doesn't have shit. They have crap sound. They have crap lighting. It's just a dump, in my opinion. Why would you go there and spend $50 on a ticket when you can spend $20 on a ticket and get a show like you were in Vegas?
Yeah.
It only makes sense. The problem is those places, when this sat for 11 years dormant, those places were building a reputation.
Yeah.
And this place got nothing. So now we need that time to build a reputation, and we're working hard. And I hate to put down other theaters, but they literally, everything we do, they copy. If we have a Metallica band, they get a Metallica band. It's like, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? Just stop.
And
It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense
gets
to
to
me.
a point of playing to your strength as well. And we've
Yes,
talked about this.
and they don't have
is
that strength.
If your strength is a Broadway type show or a
Stick
play
with it.
or a musical,
Yes.
there is no shame in that game.
Yes.
Do what you're good for.
Like, you go to Broadway Theater in Pittman, which, we love them. I've known them for years. And they put on some amazing plays. I mean, they really do. Stage plays, musicals.
Yep.
That's their niche, man. They're good at it. You have a good friend of mine, Chuck, over there that does children's theater. I would not recommend a better place to go see children's theater than to go see Chuck, Mr. Malcolm, he calls himself. Mr. Malcolm's, children's theater. It's the best around. Talking about Disney.
Hell yeah.
He takes all the Disney shows, goes back to the original, because Disney stole everything. Little Mermaid, none of that belongs to Disney.
Grimm's, they're all Grimm's.
Yeah, he goes back to the originals and does his own version of them,
That's
so he
all.
doesn't have to pay Disney.
The Princess and the Legume.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
He's had a couple that I'm like, oh yeah, all right.
But it's one of those things where, again, we try to do original bands here. We try to do a lot at the Landis that a lot of other places don't. And we're trying to make a name for ourselves in our own way, but everyone's got to just sit there and try to ride your coattails. It's like, man, you're not us, man.
Yeah.
You're never going to be us. Just stop. Do your thing, because you're so good at what you do.
Right.
Stop worrying about what we do, because you're never going to do it. And I'm going to tell you what, between Steve and I, we will spend no money and spend hours here to make it even better than what you're doing. Because it's just like, dude, stay in your lane, man. Stay in your lane. And that's the problem. People can't stay in their lane, and it screws everything up. You know what I mean? And then it causes, oh, well, there was just a Metallica band down the street last week. Yeah, but you saw shit. But now everyone saw shit. They're like, well, I'm not going to go see a Metallica band there. I already saw one over here, and they were crap. Bands that play these other theaters, and I don't care what anybody thinks. My contracts straight up say, if you play certain venues, you do not play here.
It's common sense.
But the reason behind it is they have inadequate lighting, inadequate video, they have completely inadequate sound. So you go to a place and you see a band that's 15 minutes away. Van Halen. There's 100 Van Halen bands. You go see them there. And I had literally, Joe Morrison's one of them, sends me a video and goes, holy shit, this is horrible. Now you want to play here. So I'm pulling from the same group of people.
Right.
And you're Van Halen, the next generation, whatever name of your band is. People that love Van Halen saw you down the street. They don't realize it's the venue. They think it's you.
Yeah.
They think you sucked.
Yep.
Now you come here, you're going to have better quality sound, better video. But why am I going to book you? These people are not going to buy a ticket to see you again because they think you suck.
There's one thing that I noticed that you guys do that I've seen other people strategically bomb some openers. Like I've seen sound guys purposely, do shit work for the openers just so the headliner looks that much better.
Yeah.
And
You
I
can't
love
do
the fact
that.
that
We don't do that.
I see. I know you guys.
We
don't.
also have Bob. So if you go to most shows, any other of these smaller venues, and honestly take 3 songs and just watch their sound guy. Most of the time he's outside smoking a cigarette, at the bar getting a beer, or whatever. Bob never leaves the console. He knows he's listening. He knows, oh, there's a drum solo. Let me bring this up, bring this down. Oh, I got backing vocals. He's literally works the show from the console like you should. Most of these venues, they dial it in, and they're like, all right, we're good for the show. All right, new first band's on. Hit button number 1. Oh, the guitar's a little loud. Oh, okay, there we go. They don't actually mix the show.
I will
they
never
just
forget.
Go.
Probably about 3 or 4 years ago, I went to another place in the area, and it was a Van Halen tribute. And they used a backtrack for the beginning of Jump, the keyboard part. And because the guy was not on the soundboard, it started skipping and skipping.
Yep,
and
that'll happen.
The
Thank you,
band
Pat.
ran off stage because they were so embarrassed by it, and there was nobody there to fix it. Like-
yeah, that's just.
Because they leave. Like I said, I've literally seen them go out and have a cigarette. I'm like, yo, bro, there's a show going on.
I know.
You
of a
just
couple
left the
that have
console?
Walked across the street to a bar.
Yeah, true. It's absolutely true.
Yep.
It's sad, but we don't want to be that place. We want to be a better place, and that's kind of what's going on. I mean, again, we're adding to some of the things we're doing here at the theater. Some big renovations going on to the property, renovations that are going on to a sister property down the street that's going to now be part of what we do here. We got a lot of good stuff going on, and I really want it for the city, and I want it honestly to beat down the browbeaters. That, as soon as, you say, oh, the Landis crew is going to be doing this, and they all go, and I'm like, well, what the fuck have you done? What the fuck have you done?
Yeah.
Oh, you used to have plays there and paid the city $500 and walked away with $30,000. Oh, is that what you used to do? So now you're mad because we're actually over here doing something. We're not making money, but we're bringing people to the city. And that's the idea. You bring people to the city, it brings revenue to the city. Bigger businesses want to come to the city. Bigger things happen in the city. You got 2 Chipotles going in. When I got here, there was no Starbucks. There was no Chipotles. None of this stuff. And this stuff's popping up left and right.
We used to have to go to the mall for your
Yes.
Starbucks.
That's based on per capita.
I remember that.
That's based on per capita people, and they put those little things across the road, and they see how much traffic is going down this road.
And they're building two
Yep.
new hotels.
2 new hotels in town, which again we're working with them as well with
And I will
our
say,
hospitality.
I noticed back during the Christmas time, working and doing different things around the area, that there is a sense of camaraderie.
You mean
There
dressed
is-
like drunk Santa?
Yeah, you know. But it was a great sense of
Let's
community.
be real here.
Yeah, it was serious. I
Call a
was.
spade a spade.
Yeah, I
CT
mean,
found out he wasn't needed and just fucking hit the bar. It was great.
Drunk Santa.
I
The
would've
kid said,
done, dude. What am I
"Mom,
gonna do?"
I-
Yeah, you should have charged adults fucking money to sit up.
Dude, you can make more money being an
Scott
adult
shit
then, yep.
face stayed upstairs all night long. You could have made so much money doing that.
Was
shit.
the one kid said, "Mom, why does Santa smell like Grandpa?"
smells like old granddad, Mom.
Smells like Dad after he came back to the store.
Lord, oh Lord.
6 years later.
Let's
And
real
still
quick.
never brought the milk.
Let's move on to the beginning of that. Again, that was Puppy Pals. Thank you again to Puppy Pals, Dylan and what was his name? I'm sorry again. What was the other? Ronaldo. Thank you guys so much. Ronaldo. Thank you guys for coming out, and we hope to see you again
That's
soon.
why I keep fucking it up because you said the Adolfo thing.
Adolfo.
And I keep thinking it's Adolfo, and in my head I'm like, no, it begins with a fucking R, dude. It does not. It's not Adolfo.
Exactly.
It's not Randolph.
So
That is a good idea.
we're working on all that. It's again that stuff we are working on every day. I literally was over in the city hall for about 3 hours today working on stuff.
Any thoughts of maybe festivals or?
That's another thing we're working on. Everything takes time.
Yeah,
and you
I'm
got to
sure.
remember, we're
I'm
coming.
sure.
We're still coming out of it. Look, I really don't care what people think politically. We're coming out of a shit administration, a shit economy, a shit everything, and we're hoping that something changes. And I think something happened on Saturday that people are seeing now, and maybe this world will change for a little bit better. And let's hope that this economy changes, things turn around, because all these things are feasible, but people just don't have that extra money to spend. No matter how much you want to give them something, who's going to support it if no one can pay for even a $10 ticket?
Yeah.
Because they're like, well, it's $10, man. And by the time I get there and gas and I pay this and I pay that, and they're right, dude. It's $10. But people I saw a girl online today, man. She's got 2 jobs. She's a single mother. She's got 2 jobs. 2 of her boys. One boy has 2 jobs. She has a job. That's 5 people in her family working to support one family.
Yep.
That is fucked
Yep.
up in the United States of America when we're giving billions of dollars to other countries to fight wars. That is absolutely sickening in every way. And that's why it's so hard to do anything business-wise. Because these people don't have any money. And that putting that money back in our... Dude, I'm sorry, get rid of income tax. We're taxed on everything we do. You get rid of income tax, and they're like, well, jerk off. The people are going to put that money right back into the system. What do you think? They're going to take 30, 40% of their pay each week and put it in their pocket and walk? No. They're going to buy tickets. They're going to spend money at restaurants. They're going to buy things for their children. They're going to go on vacations. That's what they're going to do with that extra money. And what are we doing with it? We're putting it in a pot and giving it to another country. What's the point?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things in this country that need to be changed, but that's one of the reasons why it's hard. We could be doing festivals right now. We could be doing a million things. The problem is we don't have the cash because it's tough to sell a ticket to people that don't have the money for it.
Yeah.
And it's sad. It's really sad that the world we're in. But you could come to Casey Ray's for, was it, $5?
Yeah.
And see,
Yes.
$5.
Yeah.
And see some great original
6
bands.
Bands. 6
6
bands for $5.
6
man.
bands
Come on.
this Saturday. What time? What are our times,
Sunday.
Casey?
This Sunday
Come on, guys.
From 2 to 6:30 p.m.
It's the semifinals, round 1. Oh, look, there's the logos, all the bands up there too.
Heck yeah.
Absolutely. Why don't we do? You want to do that read, Case? You want to do this Twisted Tea Battles of Bands read real quick? You want to do that, Steve? And
Yeah.
then we'll get into the bands and everything.
Yes. So July 21st, 28th, and August 4th are our semifinals upstairs at Casey Ray's, located in the rear of the Landis. It is $5 at the door from 2 to 6:30 p.m. All ages are welcome. And we will also have our finale Saturday, August 17th at 8 p.m. Tickets will be on sale soon. They'll be available at the door, and that is downstairs on the main stage at the Landis. I want to give a huge shout out to our sponsors, RK Auto Group of Vineland, RK Does It Right, RK Chevrolet, Kia, and Subaru. Subaru, Cora Luzo and Teresi Trucking, RAP Performance Apparel, Michael Kelly Guitars, Elena Brocus Productions, and Twisted Tea.
Twisted
This Sunday for round one, we actually have the lineup and we have the times for everybody, so I guess we can announce those now.
Yeah, let's
if you
go
want.
for it.
From 2 p.m. to 2:25, we have Sapped. From 2:40 to 3:05 is Ray Sheehan and the Midnight Players. From 3:20 to 3:45 is Smother Nature.
That's Bobby's band.
Yep, Bobby's band, Bobby and Alex. 4 to 4:25, Last Wish.
Last Wish was a movie. Remember that? It was like a horror movie,
Yes.
Last Wish.
Yes,
I like
do
that
remember
name. That's a great name.
Yeah. From 4:40 to 5:05, we have Twist It, who is also playing our, what was that, August 4th show?
Yeah, they're an opener. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, opener for our August 4th show. Right there, yeah, it's with Holy Mother and Wild
They're going to
Street.
have themselves a day then if they
Tickets
if
on
they
sale.
make it on.
Yeah, that's going to be one hell of a day.
We
man.
had a hell of a day. Oh shit, we got to play and go downstairs. And then from 5:20 to 5:45, we have Future Souls. They've played
That's
upstairs a
another
couple
good
times.
one.
And
Now-
the schedule is pretty much spot on, but things happen last minute, so it will always stay updated on the website. So it's www.thelandistheater.com/twistedtbotb, and that'll be updated.
And there's just a link when you
In
go on the
case.
homepage for that, correct?
Yep, in case anything does change schedule.
Now, let me say one thing about Battle of the Bands and to the local bands that are out there. Even if you're not performing in the Battle of the Bands, come out and support. And for the people that like to talk smack and say all they do is tribute, this is the original scene. This is what is out there, guys.
And if you don't support it, it's not going to continue. We can't
Exactly
afford
right.
it. It's $5.
Don't complain about it if you're not coming out to support it.
Yep, $5, $5 simple dollars to come see 6 bands.
6 bands, man.
We have a bar. Again, we have, if you're an adult, we have adult beverages. If you're a kid, we have pizzas. We have
The
Bruni's
food is
Pizza.
amazing.
Bruni's Pizza will be what's on sale for that time. So we have Bruni's Pizzas. Again, all your time. It's an easy $5 to come spend to see 6 bands. And I'll tell you something else. And this has happened with one of these bands that's playing. You may come here and see, you might be an artist, and you just lost your bass player. Well, you see a band, you go, well, that band sucked, but that's a pretty damn good bass player. Hey, bro, you want to be in a band?
That is one of
I
these
mean,
bands right
I've
here.
seen
Exactly.
it happen too many times.
Here's a way to find other players. Maybe you look at them and go, wow, that guy's not the greatest guitarist. I can play guitar. Let me get this band could use a really good guitarist. Let me see if there's a way. Look, it's no offense. That's how it works, man. You take the best of the best and you make the best you can out of it. But this is the way to find other band members. Even just see what other bands are doing.
Yep.
What kind of genres
Yep.
are they playing? What kind of crowd response did that band get versus that band? Maybe we shouldn't be doing that music. We should be doing this music.
Maybe they played to the crowd a certain way that you can incorporate into your own show, or things along. I mean, there's a million things to come away with this with. I mean, it's
But you get some really talented, and look, we've all seen Battle of the Bands. I mean, it's like watching the America's Got Talent back in the day when it used to be real and it's not all fake now. But when you'd have like 2 or 3 bands, and you have that one band that comes up there and you're like, oh Lord, man, just get them off. You want to pull them off like the Apollo.
Yeah, I might have been one of those.
here's
Yeah.
the other. Here's
I was
the
in
other
one of those
good-
bands.
I played my first show at the Troc.
Not
so
saying-
that's,
Not saying any of these bands on Sunday are like that, but God forbid there's a band that you don't care for. It's a 20-minute spot.
Yeah, but you
and then you
also-
have 5 other bands.
But again, if you're one of those people that's come out and support them, you might find a musician in that band
Exactly right.
that could complement your band. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Again, or just make friends with these guys, and before you know it, you're all going to each other's shows. I'm playing there. I'm playing that. Before that's what. So when I was in the music scene, and I spent a lot of time in New York, okay, because I got in the military. I ended up in New York doing film and TV and stuff. And then I came back down to Jersey, and I had some music. But that music scene was bands supporting bands
Yep.
all the time.
Yep.
likewise.
You would go to a bar, and you're like, oh, I know those guys. They were in the band from last week.
Yep.
You don't see that anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I understand if you got a gig, but if you don't have a gig, get out. It's
Exactly
a Sunday.
right.
This is Sunday. Don't tell me you got Sunday gigs. You know what I mean? Support your bands, because you could be the next band that's opening up for the Lynch Mob or whomever we have here.
That's it.
Because you came out and supported. Yeah. Hey Donnie, how you doing, brother? Donnie Rocket says he will not spike your drink. That's a promise.
Donnie is a king of the internet. I mean,
Man,
he
we
really
love
is.
Donnie. We really do. Donnie,
shit
we
he
do,
comes up
man.
with,
Yeah,
I
I know I don't get to see you enough when you're here, and hopefully maybe tomorrow night I'll see you, but we do. We love you, man. You're a great guy, man, and you really do a good job with our open mic here.
Donnie sent me a message not too long ago. Me and Donnie go way back, and he was like, "I want to come into the Landis to prep for the Flying Circus show later on in the year." He was like, "I want to come in with my." If him and Mutt come in together, it's going to be unreal.
God help me.
It's
No.
going to be
No, I don't know if I can
Mayhem.
handle Mutt live in the studio,
mayhem.
man.
Remember
I'm not
last?
sure.
Remember last
Mutt-
year when
Mutt
he
That's
was
what
on?
I mean.
Mutt
He
was
needs
fun.
to be in his cave.
Remember
over
last
there.
year when he was
Yeah.
on?
You know what his cave reminded me of? And I have to say this real quick. For anybody who doesn't know, that the Flying Circus is a Led Zeppelin tribute that's local, and we found them, and they are wonderful. Again, we brought in Led Zeppelin bands from California. This local band kills it, man, and they're great, and I'll never have another Led Zeppelin band on our stage. It will always be the Flying Circus Led Zeppelin tribute. You know, now we're featuring the Flying Circus. Because a lot of people, the issue was we literally had old ladies come to the show thinking they were seeing a circus because it said the Flying Circus, and they were disappointed. But
They were, yeah.
but the kids played really well. That's what the one lady said to me.
That's the crazy. They stayed the whole fucking time.
Yeah, they stayed
didn't
for the whole
leave.
concert. Yeah.
The only thing that I could maybe understand confusing him for would be like a Monty Python type
Well, yeah, yeah.
because of the name.
But that doesn't
Yeah.
even have anything to do with it. So,
No.
so what we're starting to push it, and I talked to him. I said we're going to call it Led Zeppelin tribute featuring, because I understand the reasoning behind it, but it does confuse people. But I love them, and they're great. But Mutt last year, if you remember, if you watch I'm a big old like 60s, 70s sci-fi. And probably in the 70s, they started making the real cheap sci-fi movies, and that looked like a spaceship. They would just put a
Yeah.
bunch of
Yeah.
TVs
Yep.
and lights blinking and shit in a room with a dark background, and you'd be like, oh, that's a spaceship.
Did you ever,
That's-
Mutt's
did you ever
menagerie.
watch?
Yes.
You guys ever see any of the shorts that Mutt makes?
Yes.
They are absolutely
Yeah,
fantastic.
Dude,
I love
it's,
them.
it's that's what I mean. I don't know.
I don't
you know.
drink, so I don't enjoy them
I
as
think
much.
he needs. He plays best to his own camera.
Yeah.
That's in front of him. That he
Yes.
knows where it is and it's in control. I mean, look, dude, imagine him trying to do that shit in here with that little camera right there.
Never happened.
And we're just sitting here like
Yeah. Mutt is a definite dial-inner.
he's
Yeah.
dialing.
But we love you,
I
Mutt.
do love him. I mean, don't
Oh,
get
absolutely.
me wrong.
He's one of my-
He's batshit insane.
One of my favorite
But
people.
We thought
he's-
Desco's a lot to handle. That's
Yeah. Mutt and Desco together
Oh,
in the
man,
room.
I would
Oh, my
like that.
God. That's
I
a
would-
podcast there. Just let them
Yeah.
sit and talk.
I kind of would like to make that happen.
That would be
actually.
fun.
Now
That
that I
would-
think
that'd
about
be
it,
fun. We can make
I think
anything
Steve
happen.
Desco, Mutt, and I'm trying to think of who else. Who else is another like real character? Real character. Kevin's too quiet.
Yeah, we
to
got a
do
few.
it.
They're the two
He's a
biggest
character,
ones. They're
but
the two
I
biggest
feel
ones.
like he would just be, in
Yeah.
the background, being
Yeah.
like, "What the fuck is
Well,
going on?"
you add some of that female touch with Nitra. I think Nitra and them.
See,
makes
even her, for somebody that is so far out in space, I think
She's not-
she's a lot more down to earth.
Oh,
than
I
she
agree.
is, she
I
is
agree.
completely
I
normal.
agree.
she's a little more on earth,
compared to them.
a little bit more on earth than those.
She's
two.
rock and roll. These
And
guys
again,
are
I love all of these
Hi.
people.
crack
so
and
this
roll.
is
They're high.
this has nothing to do with my like or dislike of any of you. I love both of you guys. Although one of you did think that I was a Russian prostitute. So
Yeah, that's true. We still don't doubt
no.
that, to be honest with you. So, I mean, you put a wig on Steve, he'd definitely be a Russian prostitute. I'm just
beard
saying.
might be a little difficult to get by,
Again,
but-
put a wig on Steve, and he might look like a Russian prostitute, because a lot of them don't shave either.
bearded lady.
Do you
Case,
guys?
real quick, do you have any video or anything on any of the bands that we're announcing, or no? For this Battle of the Bands, did she send you anything? Okay, so we do have logos. We just don't have any video, but we will have a recap of each week. We'll tell our winners, and we'll even show some of the bands that didn't win. We'll get a little bit of
Awesome.
video of each band. So let's go to round 2, which is on the 24th. So that's, or I'm sorry, July 28th. And again, this sounds. Steve, you want to go through these guys? I think we did fill this slot, though, did we not, Case?
I believe so,
Yeah,
but
so-
I don't know if she sent me the.
All right, we'll get that soon. But this
Oh,
this
good.
But
is
it
the
is-
Sunday,
it
the
is
next round
filled,
2,
but-
Steve.
I'm not going to do the times just because that gets a little.
Yeah.
You can see them on the screen. We have
Yep.
second half comeback followed by the Bella Irano band.
Yeah.
Does anybody know? What
I think you're right.
That sounds about
Irano?
right.
That sounds about right.
Yep.
Then we have the Goodbyes followed by Shadow Station, which sounds pretty damn cool. I don't
So
know.
does the next one.
Darkfly.
Darkfly. Some great
Hell
band
yes.
names here,
and then
man.
one TBA that's been filled, but it's not. We don't.
No,
we don't
that's
have
the band, TBA.
Oh, sweet.
Be a good name for a band. That's kind of funny.
But it's like traumatic brain
That would be great. Like
Aneurysm.
aneurysm. Yeah.
like every show that the opener's TBA and people are like,
Yes.
well, who is it?
No, there was a band like that when I was playing, and I can't think of their name, but you'd see it on the thing, and you'd be like, is this a band? Like if it was at the bottom of the flyer, you'd be like, all right, they're telling me this, but then it'd be like in the middle somewhere, and you're like, that's got to be a band,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So, but no, if they had them at like the bottom of the flyer, you'd be
Yeah.
like, who the fuck is that?
Yeah, see, that's
Are they
that's
just
the perfect
are they giving
one.
me directions?
I always
forget what it
wanted to
was, though.
start a bar band called Free Beer and 10-cent Hot Dogs. I mean, if you
Talk about a
imagine-
Russian prostitute.
You imagine
Maybe
seeing
put a-
that on a marquee, though?
God
It would grab your attention.
Let's go round 3 real quick. We got a lot of
It
good.
would also grab a lawsuit. I
Oh,
think,
we got another one coming back in here too.
Yes, we have Siobhan.
Siobhan.
I guess I'm going to go with that. Correct me if I'm wrong. Fate's Hand, followed by the Jaspers, and then Strange Velvet. They
Yeah,
have
love
Yeah,
Strange
come back.
Velvet. Those
Yeah,
guys are
great.
so good, man.
the Psychedelic Elders.
And they're another
Yeah,
great
absolutely
band.
love 'em.
Another great band.
What was it? Griff? Right?
Griff,
Yes,
Griff,
yep.
yes.
They're such a great band, man.
The Rainy Days Band. Rounding it
Dude,
out.
this is going to be a really good battle of the bands. I mean, we got some good bands. We got some returning bands. We got bands that have played our main stage. Many of them just for benefits.
Yeah.
But, you know, they're here. And dude, I'm excited because what this does, this gives us another group of, regardless if you win, we're going to put you in front of a national act. We're going to get you probably like we were talking to Whiskey Grid and these guys about booking a show in January. We're going to get you your own show. They didn't but with Nitro Nitra and getting everybody their own show. But we want to give these bands that ability to do that. But even if you don't win, we're still going to find a place for you because what we're going to try and do this year, and it's the first time we're doing it, is one of my issues. You know, our concessions again. We talked about this earlier. Concessions pay the bills. You want to. I don't want to do intermissions anymore. One thing I hate is when you're going to see a band and they break. If they need to, like we have a Bowie tribute, he has to do an intermission because the man's
Costume
dying in
change,
costume, sweat, and change. So if they want an intermission, we'll do it. But if they don't, I'm going to bring a local band in to open. Let the local band start the show. Our little intermission is that 15-minute changeover to where maybe concessions can get going again, and then just hammer through that concert. Like we have that Back in Black AC/DC band. Nothing I hate more than stopping the middle of that show.
Of an AC/DC show,
But
yeah.
if we don't do that as a venue, we lose probably $500-600 because we don't. Again, we're not making that's $500-600 that pays the guys that are working.
You know, and I also understand intermissions for a certain band. Like if you were to have a Dave Matthews tribute or a Grateful Dead tribute again, or
Dave
something.
Matthews has never happened, but Grateful Dead will do.
But does he? If it's Dave Matthews and he doesn't do
draws,
all the
man.
leg things,
We get
You
Dave
know?
Matthews in here 100%. It's his day. He can do whatever he wants to do.
no.
But a
I'm
tribute
saying
to
a
Dave
tribute,
Matthews,
as long as he
I
doesn't do the
shoot
leg
myself.
shit,
I
I
can't
think we'll
stand
be
it.
all right. I mean, dude, there's so many
Nothing-
people who can sing like him.
Nothing. That's the
He
point.
wakes up in the
That's the
morning.
point. That's the point.
I'm going to start one now. That's
Yeah,
it.
which one's better, Mandy?
Who wants to do it?
Speaking of you know what? We did not recap that case, but so let's just go. Let's finish this real quick. So again, Twisted Tea Battle of the Bands, RK Auto Group of Violin is one of the big sponsors, and we also have RAP Performance, Michael Kelly, Ellen Brocus is doing all of our Ellen Brocus Productions. She brings in a lot of our acts, and she does all that. We have Carluzzo and Teresi Trucking, some great local sponsors as well. We're very excited to have all these guys on board. It's going to be a lot of fun. You can go. Is that on our website now, Case, or on Facebook? That graphic you showed with all the bands and dates.
Yes, it is. Yep.
All right, cool.
It's right under Twisted Tea, Battle of the Bands.
Awesome. So you can go on, you can see what bands are playing and everything. And look, man, again, just come out, see these bands. We're going to have a weekly recap of the bands. We're going to let you know who won which round as the rounds go through. And then, of course, last year, if people know, we had, of course, our sponsor was Death Wish Coffee, but we did everything in the theater. It took away, I think, for a lot of what we were doing. This way, upstairs, you got a nice stage, you got a nice room, you can bring people in, they can see you, we can vote, judges can watch you. Then when it comes to the main stage, now you're getting this huge, enormous show.
Yeah.
As opposed to having these bands on this big stage and having like 10 friends come to see their first round performance. It makes more sense. We have the venues, let's use them and make it work.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be a lot of fun this year. It's gonna be a lot
I
of fun.
think you guys did a great job with this year because one, you have that bar feel. We're
Yep.
going out to see a live band with like having that people standing in front of the stage. When you had it in the theater last year, you had a lot of people. Nobody wants to sit in the front row.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody wants to sit back, lay back in their chair, and you go put this on at a bar, you have more of an interaction with people. You have more people talking. You got people like really being together.
You got people that don't know each other becoming friends over music.
Yeah.
It's a huge thing, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Real quick before because I want to move on to talking about Vinnie and everything and bringing Pat on, but we did have Jimmy Graham's comedy roost.
His comedy fledgling.
Well, his fledgling thing.
Oh yeah.
Right? Do you not have that case?
Just give me 1 second.
Okay, so tonight, for instance, Jimmy's upstairs and he has prior to our karaoke night, Jimmy does a comedy thing. So Jimmy comes in and he does his little comedy thing, and all these guys kind of they try jokes out. They figure Jimmy gives them tips. He's been a professional comic for many years. He helps them out. Well, this past Saturday, prior to our Latin night, he had his, what do you call it again?
the comedy fledgling.
Comedy fledgling. Yeah. He loves roosters and chickens, don't ask. But it's hilarious, and it works. I came out, and I literally sat, and I'm like, I think, what was there, like 10 people maybe, 12 people, right?
I think it was about 10.
And I thought, all right, look, I love Jimmy. I'm going to come out. I'll sit through a couple guys. I'm going to want to kill myself, and I'm going to go back to my office and get some work done. I didn't leave.
That's
Dude,
awesome.
I was, and the last couple guys, I was in stitches, man. These guys and girl, we had one girl, they were hilarious, man.
Yes.
This was actually funny.
Beyond funny, dude.
I'm
Beyond
upset that I missed it.
you
Dude,
should be,
I
'cause-
was blown
yeah.
away. I really was expecting a guy who comes out on Tuesday to do a joke here and there, and no, Jimmy. I don't know what you're doing with these guys, but dude, you got to come out. If you even have ever thought about comedy, you even want to try it, come out on Tuesday. Not only do you get to see some great comics, but no one here is going to dish you, disrespect you. They're going to help you. They're gonna hone you. And I will tell you, I've seen what happened. These guys have stage
awesome.
presence.
Fantastic.
They have an understanding of the microphone, how to work a crowd. Jimmy is teaching these people well.
Yeah.
And he's doing it for free.
Yeah.
Jimmy doesn't make money until he has the showcase, and he makes money at the door.
Yep.
Otherwise, this is him doing it for you.
And
So,
even that, I
yeah.
think he gave a bunch of the comedians.
Yeah, he actually paid the comedians
Yep.
with his own money that he made.
And a lot of those people, like it's like,
Yeah.
dude, I got paid to do fucking comedy. That's that's crazy.
And two of them, he actually took, because he does his own he took his openers.
Yep. Yep.
That are open, and let me tell you, they were good. I would have them opening if I did comedy.
Hell yeah! I was telling him we should, because he wants to do this a couple times a year.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, I really want to figure something out for down in the theater.
Yes,
and I
absolutely.
said, well, Jimmy, after seeing how this went, maybe what we should do is like a graduation. Down,
That would be
basically set it
cool.
up like almost like a roast.
If he did, he was talking about every 2 to 3 months.
Yeah, that's what I said. Do
And
like
then
4 of
maybe,
those a year.
maybe at the end of the year, bring it down.
That's what
here.
I mean. Yeah,
Yeah.
But do it as like a graduation ceremony.
Yeah.
Where
That's
basically
an
get up
awesome
and fucking roast each
idea.
other, shit like that.
'Cause-
But call it jump in the coop.
Look, I'm gonna tell you, every one of
There you
them,
go.
every single performer, I laughed. Every single performer, I laughed. That's a good name, by the way. But
I was cooking the other
there
day.
was a couple of them that I'm like, dude, these guys come to a bar in Vineland, New Jersey, to learn comedy. And I see comedians on TV. I watch a lot of stand-up on Netflix and stuff. These guys are better than that.
Maybe you could do a wall in Casey Ray's of like headshots of the comedians that are.
Oh, I don't want to look at them. Some of them are ugly as sin.
But you never know
No.
who.
A couple of those guys
yeah,
were
yeah.
tough.
Yeah, no, we're good with that.
They're funny as shit, dude. I mean, look, hey, yeah, no, this is comedy, okay? Look, this is what we do.
Funny looking makes
Just
fun.
saying, you
This is
never know
whatever
who
we do.
comes
Look,
through.
and I'll tell
man.
you
Like,
what, those were probably the funniest guys.
Yeah. Oh,
throughout
there's
the
a
night.
photo of everything. And look, we had a nice crowd came
Nice
out. Nice
crowd.
crowd came
Found out
out.
that was actually the guy that fired Tiff from her last job.
Oh, nice.
She was like, I think he's our liquor rep. And then went and asked him, like, oh, who do you work for? He's like, yeah, that company that you got fired from.
Yeah, that was me. I fired your ass.
Literally.
But that's okay. Well, good, because we got a good person that's working
I
for
got a
us.
little video.
yeah.
Do you? Oh, great. Oh, Casey's got a
There's
little
no
video.
jokes, but it's a little recap. of
Nice,
just
we
the little
stalled
crowd and
enough.
stuff, Yeah.
Yes,
There
let's
we
see what we got real quick.
Oh, it's supposed to have sound. but
I
it
don't hear
doesn't.
nothing.
Nope. And I'm
But that's
out
Jimmy.
on a ride today.
That's Jimmy, and
I'm
that's okay. But you just see, we had a nice crowd. Again, look at we had women, we had a lot of men. It was a very diverse crowd. We had guys with funny hats. I mean, and you know,
Doc
look
is a
around,
trip,
look
man.
around, there we
He's
go.
a
And we
trip.
had this guy with a Hawaiian shirt,
Doc's
and
very
another
nice.
guy with a Hawaiian shirt.
Yes.
And look at this guy's fist pounding. He must have, you know, he's trumpeting it over there.
That guy was so funny.
hilarious. And,
So
yeah,
funny.
again, some really good comedy. It was really worth the night. And I would tell everybody, come out. You got to come out. And,
Will, who watches all the time.
but damn it, if you that's good, Case. It's we're just watching on that. But the bottom line is, if you think even there's a thought in your head that you think you're funny or anyone's ever told you you're funny, let's give it a shot.
Yeah.
It costs you nothing. Come out. You know, maybe buy a drink or two so we can pay for the lighting bill. But
I'm
come
not
out,
cheap.
learn, understand, and get up on the stage. 'Cause again, not one. I really was waiting. I honestly was thinking 2 comics, I'm done. But I was waiting for the guy that I'm like, here we go. This is what I was. But even the ones that weren't the greatest were still pretty damn funny.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I was.
That's
I'm
real
still
cool.
shocked at it. I can't believe it was as good as it was.
I'm not gonna. And he brought in a professional comedian from I
Did-
forget where he was from, and I will say
Nashville.
every person from our thing was funnier.
As good or not better.
Really?
Yep, he was just as good or not better.
That's awesome.
Killed it.
If you didn't know, you wouldn't know which one was the professional comedian.
Yep.
That's how good Jimmy
That's
did.
awesome.
Yeah, Jimmy, I'm proud
Good
of
for
you,
you,
man.
Jimmy.
I'm proud of you, Jimmy. You've done one
He
hell
probably
of a.
can't hear us. He's probably talking shit to somebody right
Exactly.
now. You know.
Did you guys want to do a read before we?
Yeah, Steve, you want to do a
Hell yeah, we'll go with read number 1, Casey. We would like to thank our sponsor, Michael Kelly Guitars. We'd like to thank Steve Pisani of Radio Flashback, the head honcho over there at Michael Kelly Guitars, for all of his support. You can check them out at www.michaelkellyguitars.com. They have electrics, acoustics, hybrids, and more, bringing you the best guitars in sound and style. We'd also like to thank Absolute Vodka, one of our main sponsors and our original sponsor here on the podcast. Available at the concession stand for $10 a can. We have their Mango Mule, Grapefruit Paloma, and Berry Vodka Rita.
Nice.
Vodkarita.
Yes, and a new addition to our concession stand, Wanderback Beer Works, now available at the concession stand and at Casey Ray's, the Perfectly Cromulent IPA and their Hellas Lager.
Every time you say Wanderback, I think of Welcome Back, Kotter. Wanderback.
I think of Hollaback Girl.
Oh, see, that's
Ain't
what
no
a difference in
Wanderback
age,
beer.
man.
Nah, look, you
Because
can't say shit about Gwen
Hollaback,
Stefani, man. Dude.
Hollaback.
What other
Yo,
pop
dude,
star
fuck
do you
outta
know?
here.
No,
Get
listen,
outta
let me
here.
plead my case because I
No.
know you like No Doubt. I don't want to.
I do, but I ain't gonna put that above Welcome Back,
What
Kotter.
other pop star do you know was also in a fucking ska band? None.
But the fact that look who she married though, that was a little weird. That was a little weird.
My brother's named after him.
Oh no, that's not good.
Is he? Oh
He is,
man.
literally is.
Oh no.
CT,
Yeah,
I
we were
will
big
fight
Bush
you
fans.
over Gwen and Blake.
Welcome back.
we
I'm
will-
talking the original marriage.
Oh,
Again.
oh yeah, she sucks, man.
He's
Again,
not named Blake. His name is Gavin.
Without Welcome
Oh,
Back,
Gavin.
Kotter.
Gavin's cool.
Without
She
Welcome
figured
Back,
it out.
Kotter, we wouldn't have Vinnie Barbarino, which means we wouldn't have had Grease and a lot of other great films with John Travolta.
Hell yeah.
Because that's where he got to start. I'll put that to rest. Gwen Stefani ain't got shit on John.
Yeah.
Not at all. And he can sing. He can dance.
Bring
he can
ska
act.
back,
he can-
2024.
He can perform.
He plays a really good Santa Claus.
That's my project. 2025.
I don't know if has anybody
fucking
watched
ska.
Welcome Back, Kotter, or is that just me?
yeah.
Oh, Mr. Kotter. Oh, Horse Shack. Oh, Mr. Kotter.
Yeah, I'm here to officially announce my my presidential candidacy on the platform of bringing back ska music.
Oh, I'm good with ska music.
I think
I
we
love
were
ska
a better
music.
I'll go with
country when the
ska.
Mighty
Yeah.
Mighty Ball Stones were a
Steve
thing.
for ska.
Yeah.
Steve for
Steve for
ska.
ska.
Yeah.
Cherry Poppin' Daddies.
Ska music's great, man. I'm 100%
ska.
game
The
for that.
Mighty Mighty Ball Stones gave me my first PlayStation when I was a child.
Bowling for soup.
And you
with
could
a-
have
Not
it-
a ska band.
Bowling for Soup
No?
was
Instead of
great.
Air Force One,
They
you
were
have
great,
like
though.
SS ska, Steven Cicerco ska.
Yeah.
Oh, you know who I'm thinking about? I'm thinking about Real Big Fish.
Real Big Fish, I love. Love them.
Well, I'm just trying to look through these to see if there's anything else I want to go before we get into talking about our dear friend here.
It's the upcoming shows and then the events at Casey Ray's.
Well, we can do one upcoming show.
Yeah,
for
why
the
don't,
first
why
half
don't we
of it.
just do the upcoming shows right now, and then we'll do the Casey Ray's read at the end.
Well, let's split it in two. because that was a little long last time. So upcoming shows down here at the Landis. I think we're going to start off with the semifinals of the Twisted Tea Battle of the Bands, actually upstairs at Casey Ray's, July 21st, July 28th, and August 4th. Also on August 4th, downstairs in the Landis Theater is Holy Mother with Wild Street and opener Twist It. April, geez, what the hell am I thinking there? August 17th, the Twisted Tea Battle of the Bands 2024 finale. That's also downstairs in the theater. August 23rd, Completely Unchained, the
can't wait for
Van
this band.
Halen Experience. August 24th, the Edwards Twins on their farewell tour. They are Las Vegas's top celebrity impersonators. They do a variety show. They're absolutely fantastic.
Hilarious.
Yes, see them before you can't. August 30th, Michael Graves, former lead
Yeah,
vocalist
baby.
for the Misfits.
You saw
performing-
Doyle?
Yes.
Now you see Michael.
Performing American Psycho and Famous Monsters in their entirety.
Two great albums.
August 31st, Street Survivors, the Leonard Skinner Experience.
Welcome back. Speaking of welcoming back,
Hell yes. And then September
Yes,
6th.
I'm
is
excited
the
for this.
Vineland Sings 2 karaoke contest. You can call 856-794-4000, extension 4169 to sign up. There are cash prizes of $500, $300, and $200.
that is sponsored by the city. That is
Yes,
a citywide.
awesome.
That is a
Yep.
citywide event
Awesome.
we're going to have here at the theater, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
That
I'm
I
looking forward to it.
unfortunately don't qualify for. I'm looking to get some redemption.
Yes, redemption. Thank you,
The
City of
competition
Vineland.
is limited to 20 contestants, so sign up now.
All right. So look, it's with a sad heart and sadness. There's so much you can say about certain people and what they give, and they give back to the community of music and people in general. I did not get to know this man as long as a lot of people did. I got to know him when they played here, and I literally was looking everywhere for my Bloody Stools shirt, and I could not find it to put it on. Because he had sent me that in the mail after one of the bands he's affiliated with opened here. Vinnie, also known as Mouse, Salvia, had passed away this weekend, July 10th. Pat had sent me, Pat Shoemaker was a very good friend of Vinnie's for many years. They've been like best of friends forever. Pat and I really hit it off, and so did Vinnie, It's funny because once they were here, and we even had an issue that night with some stuff, they became two of the most amazing people that I've met here from an original band. Pat and Vinnie both. Now, when we started this podcast, there wasn't a night when you didn't see Vinnie's name at the bottom of this screen with a comment saying hello or whatever.
Absolutely.
He was hospitalized. He still would comment until he got to a point where he just couldn't do that anymore. But that man watched this podcast religiously. He again, I remember the Bloody Stools from years ago. He found a T-shirt, sent me a T-shirt. I really wish I could have found that to wear it. There's the T-shirt, actually. That's so great. But it's like
Found it.
there's just so many great things you can say about a man like this. And I didn't even get to know him as well as I wanted to. Our plans were to bring him back, bring things back. We just needed him to get better.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he didn't get better, and we lost him this weekend. And Pat and I were going back and forth about how he's doing and what's going on and this and that. And then, I got that text, and he said, he's no longer with us. He was on life support for a while, and he didn't make it.
Yeah.
And you knew Vinnie for a lot longer.
Yeah, I've known Vinny for years, since going back to the beginning of me doing what I do or used to do. And Vinny and I were really, really tight. I remember
There's you and Vinnie right there.
back when Sick Vikki originally first got back together, and they hadn't been together in years. Vinny was a driving proponent in that. I remember my former podcast, I had a show where it was the Sick Vikki, but in all its editions. There were so many different versions of Sick Vikki over the years, different band members in and out, as will happen. And they all came on the show, and it was all because of Vinny.
wow.
Vinny reached out to everybody. I mean, people that you guys know, Buddy Blanche was once in the Sick Vikki, other band members, and Vinny was just a great
There's
dude.
Vinnie and Buddy. Yeah, we got a lot of photographs that Pat has sent over too, and it's unfortunate because there's not a lot of video Pat couldn't find. And honestly, this just happened this past weekend, so I mean, asking people for things and stuff. We want to say something before. We don't want to wait 3 weeks and say,
Right.
Vinny's no longer with us. But if anybody does have anything, any photographs of Vinny you want to share, please post them on our Facebook. Any videos you want to share of Vinny. I just fell for the guy day one, and we became friends. When I was in the hospital, the last text I have on my phone from him was when I was in the hospital, telling me, "I hope you feel better."
Wow.
And
You know
I
what I
will
mean?
say with
Yep.
Vinny, he was a supporter of everybody in the scene.
Absolutely.
He watched every show that was local. He supported every band that was out there.
He was exactly what we're talking about.
Yep.
Support the local bands.
He did that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And for the longest time, and I remember having this conversation with Vinny, he kind of felt a little timid because of the wheelchair. And he did not want to get out of his house for the longest time
Yeah.
because of the wheelchair. And I remember me and a few other people coaxing him out. And when he came out to see Sick Vikki, was the first time that he had come out in a long time. Their first show back. And everybody was so excited to see Vinny.
Wow.
Yeah.
Vinny was a rock star, like, kind of personality everybody just kind of clung to.
Well, let's bring. Is Pat on, Case?
Yes, Pat's on. I'll bring him back.
Let's bring Pat on. This is Pat Schumacher. Pat is again one of the great. Pat, how are you, my friend?
I'm hanging in there, man. How you
We
guys
can't
doing?
hear
tonight?
you,
I'm
Pat.
hanging in there, man. How
Oh,
you
there
guys
you are.
doing?
Yeah,
tonight?
you got a little bit of a delay there on you. Probably a bad
No.
connection.
No.
Say hello so we can see if we can hear you, Pat.
Hello, 1, 2,
Hello,
3.
1,
Can
2,
you hear me
3.
now?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got a little bit of a delay, which is a shame because I hate when that happens in key places like this. So we were just talking about Vinny. Vinny was 63 years old, born August 5th, 1960. We unfortunately lost him the 10th of July, this past weekend. You were pretty much, I would have to say, the best friend the man ever had in his life. And the two of you together were just such a driving force for local music, for bands in the area. Again, like CT just said, for getting Sick Vikki back together. And I mean, I can't say enough about you, Pat, as a person, and how much you mean to us since day one. I mean, just you came across as just such a humble, amazing human being. And we did that day that they played here. There was a couple little difficulties, but Pat was just the person that came down, and you're like, this guy's such. He made everything right, and Vinny was right there by his side, and Vinny was at the table, selling merch and stuff. And it was like you could see the camaraderie between, because as soon as Pat came in to say something, Vinny was right next to him, and we never spoke without the two of them together. And it was like you were speaking to one person, and I mean that in a really good way, Pat.
Thank you. No, he's I miss him. I used to talk to him almost daily. You know what I mean? And since he passed, it's weird. I felt like I needed to pick up the phone and call him the other day. I'm like, oh yeah, I can't do that now. It's gonna take a little while for me to get over that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sent that text to me the other day, and he was like, I just feel like it's there's something I had to tell him, and I can't tell him, and again, it's tough because I wish more people. I know there's a lot of people that know. I wish I knew him longer, if that makes sense. I just really wish I knew, because it's unfortunate. Life takes you on certain paths, but then you meet these people on your journey, and they're the people that touch your heart. My sister spent her life in a wheelchair, and when I first met the man, he was in a wheelchair. So I felt something there immediately for him. But then when you just saw his character as a person, again, since the day we started this podcast, Vinny was always commenting on this podcast. We always had his name at the bottom. The man, he looked at me and we started talking about the stools and everything. And damn if it literally, here it comes in the mail, a T-shirt, from Vinny.
Yeah.
He's a man of his word. He's a man of honor, and somebody that I wanted to honor and really, do a little retrospective of his life and everything. So Pat, I'm going to give it to you real quick. Give us a little rundown, like when you met. I mean, what made him, what brought you together, made Vinny the guy that everyone just fell in love with.
So I'll give you a little bit of history of the band, first of all. I played in a three-piece band where I fronted and played bass called Hostage in probably 1985, 1986. We did one gig at the Empire. Lori Gallagher saw me. She picked me up, introduced me to Joe C.B., who was the guitar player in 60 at the time. and we ended up practicing in Mouse's house. That's where we were at from that point on. And as you said, there's some people you just kind of hit it off with. He and I always hit it off. Now, 40 years ago, Mouse was a lot more mobile. He had 2 legs. He was able to get around on crutches. He drove a Dodge Stealth for a while. He always had really nice cars.
That's a great car. Yeah.
Yeah. He always had really nice cars. He had them modified, so they were all hand controls. You know what I mean? 'Cause he couldn't
Yep.
use his legs down. And he did a fantastic job living life to its fullest, being dealt a bad hand.
I don't want to interrupt you. For the people that didn't know him, let's give us a background on why he lost his use of his legs the way he did.
So what happened with him was there was a gun accident. The gun accident was due to a faulty safety on a gun, and the bullet severed his spinal cord, and that's what when the gun went off, and that's how he ended up how he was.
Yes. I just thought that was important for people to know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's we're big gun enthusiasts, and gun safety is a very important thing.
Gun safety is huge.
Yes, very, very huge. And you see a lot of people that don't. And here's a man who suffered an accident like that, but really kept going with his life. So keep going.
Okay, so we ended up rehearsing in his basement at his house. Got to know the whole family for a lot of years. Family hung out with us. And, we started playing gigs and found out that he had all these contacts that we never even thought about. You know what I mean? We ended up hanging out, recording in the warehouse with Bon Jovi and Richie Sambora.
Oh, nice.
The Bloody Stools. We did a lot of. They did a lot of the recording. They had Richie Sambora on some of the guitars. We did a lot of the background vocals with those guys. It was a lot of fun hanging out in those days.
And Mouse put that together.
And Mouse introduced everybody. Yeah, he helped put it all together.
That's great.
He just had, as you know, you were attracted to him immediately.
Yep.
He had that vibe, that feel that everybody liked.
Yeah. Yep. Just you could see his heart in his eyes. You could really see that he was just a really good person, and his love of music. And his comments, even that he used to make on this show about stuff. I mean, you could see his love of music in him right from the get-go. And it's one of the things I think that really drew me to him, because one of the things that we really have always wanted to do here was really bring local bands and original bands in. And I had said to you and him at that time that this is a match made in heaven, because this is something we want to do. And here you have Vinnie, with all his connections and everything. And this could be something, and unfortunately, he just didn't get better.
I laughed because one of the last conversations I had with Vinnie was over an hour long about how Desmond Child ruined Aerosmith. That was Vinnie to a T. That was Vinnie to a T.
It's the truth.
It is.
And he was so passionate about it.
He's very factual. He had a lot of background information when it came to different bands, Kiss, Aerosmith. Alice Cooper, loved Alice Cooper. We had all kinds of information about Alice Cooper as well.
Yeah. So let's go back to the history. So it was 40 years ago. You guys were doing your thing. You were going and bring us kind of through the years real quick with him, and like what was going on during the years, and what got you to, the point where you even came here and met us all.
So Sick Vicky kind of disbanded in about 1985, just because the genre of music that we were playing really wasn't a thing anymore. You know what I mean? So we just kind of went our own separate ways. Had kids, brought up families, did the whole thing. And as this genre of music started to come back around again, and all the old bands started to do tours, we said, it'd be really cool time to get the band back together and see what we can do. We got Rich back on board. It took a little bit of doing because he was always involved with City Rhythm, and he had a couple of other solo projects and things like that going on. He was a busy dude. But we finally got him back on board, and we hired the right people. And lo and behold, our first gig was, a CT gig at the Union Firehouse.
Yep. Was it Union Fire? Now, the Union Firehouse still going? Or
They are
I know
still
they went
going,
under a little there, but when the owner passed away.
Yeah. it shows a
The new
big
staff is kind of
commitment there.
learning how to do things now.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, okay. Because again, anybody from the Union Firehouse that knows, of us or down here, if you ever need anything, let us know because we're very big. So I'm a Mount Holly guy. That's where I went to high school. Ran Cookies Valley Regional High. My sister and my mother and my grandparents are buried in Mount Holly, so I go back to visit them once in a while. I still have some great friends, including Carrie from Carrie Cares. We went to high school together, and a lot of people. That I know, and again, that are kind of coming back around that, you haven't seen in years. And it's pretty crazy. But Casey stepped out for a second. When she gets back, I want to go through some of these photographs. You sent us some really great photographs. And it was so funny because I had to laugh because he sends me some photographs. I'm looking at them, and I'm just looking at Vinny's face. And he goes, I said, what else you got? He goes, a lot of them got strippers in them and some titties and stuff. And I'm like, well, you know what? That shows the man's character. He's having fun. He enjoyed his life. When you go through things in life and you see people like him, and he goes through a debilitating injury like that, but you see him still living and enjoying his life. I mean, that right there alone is something that you see and you say, you know what? If I bitch and moan when I get up or I eat McDonald's and, I'm like, oh, my stomach hurts, and look at this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, we all bitch about things, and everyone always thinks, oh, my thing's the worst. But there are people out there who've gone through a lot more, and they're an inspiration for all of us that are out there. And I think Vinny, to me, was a true inspiration. He really was, especially musically.
And here was a guy that he didn't smoke, he didn't drink, he didn't do drugs. The guy ate 0 carbs and still had some of the health issues that he had. And that's when you start questioning the weight of the world and how things are. But Vinny never let that get to him.
We were talking about Keith Richards earlier. I mean, maybe we should have Keith Richards him here at the end, Really went in the room and just started pouring beers down his throat.
No, he needed a blood transfusion from Keith Richards. That's what it was.
Yes, that's all he needed.
There's some antibodies in there.
Then he did enough drugs for 70 years.
They've been developed over the years.
Hey, Case, real quick, do you want to go through let's just go through some of those photographs.
Yeah.
And Pat, I do believe you should be able to comment. We'll put a photo up and go ahead, Pat. And you see that photo?
Yeah, hold on.
Yep. He's putting on his glasses. Now let us know where this photo was and who's he with.
Back.
Okay, so that's one of the recent shows. That is Diane, who's Richie Salmon's wife.
Okay.
And Vinny. I'm trying to think of where that would be. That might even be a year.
I believe that's Union Firehouse.
Oh, is it?
That's me with my tongue hanging out in the back.
Oh, then
I
you
thought that was a
would
fucking
know.
walrus. I thought that was
Well,
a
you
walrus
normally have your
there.
tongue hanging out, don't you?
Yeah, most times.
I was going to say Cape May Zoo when I saw that guy in the back, but
That's not a gorilla. That's a dude.
I think that was the reunion show.
Okay.
let's go to another photo. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is Mouse who's kicking her face. The guy next to him is Vince Caputo. He was on our road crew for a lot of years. Really good dude. Still hangs out with us, and does shows with us.
Oh, that's a great shot, man. Woo, look at him there, man. I know. What a great shot of him there. That's a rock and roll picture right there, brother.
Absolutely.
Arm tattoo and
Yeah, the
everything.
80s hair going, man. I
Oh, yeah.
love it. Fucking love it. Go
That was
ahead.
probably like 86, 87
No,
right
it's
there.
definitely 80s, baby.
Look like you got the earring going in the wall.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh, here we go.
Okay, so this is more recent. This is probably Union Firehouse again as well for the first show, back in the dressing room. It's Rich, somebody, Mouse, and Mouse and Bree, and I can't remember her name. And Rich again. There was a whole bunch of really cool pictures from that first show. Everybody was doing it.
Oh, that's awesome. It's just great to see the smile on his face.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a great shit. Look at that hat.
Yep, that's Linda and Mouse. They were really good friends. They talked a lot.
Oh, excellent. That's so nice.
She came to every show.
Look, there's another
That's the
oldie.
Steven Tyler picture.
That's the Steven Tyler picture. You notice how it's cropped?
Is that boobies in there?
You think?
That's excellent. Oh, there he is. They're back at the
There's
zoo.
the
again,
dynamic
man. He
duo.
went to the zoo a lot.
Yeah. That was the second show. That was the 30th anniversary of Kiss Me in French.
Oh, nice. The Faster Pussycat hat on there, brother. Love
That
it.
was
love
from
it.
this show.
Speaking of, there it is. There's the Kiss Me in French, the album cover. Love that album cover. That's great. I love that.
So the guy that did a lot of our graphics for us, and he's actually listening and watching right now, is Rob DiGregorio. He designed this for us and did a really, really nice job. It's going to end up everywhere. I like the nice stairway to heaven with the
Great
mouse
job,
and stuff
Rob.
like that.
That's
He did
gorgeous,
an
man.
awesome
Good job, buddy.
job. And he does such a great job with graphics. If you have any graphic work, this guy's your man. I'll tell you that right now.
Excellent.
He did that lynch mob poster behind you.
Oh,
Yep.
did he? Oh.
Yes, he did.
Dude, Rob, you do some great work, brother. Great work, man.
So if you ever need posters, give Rob a ring.
He's got I love the Mickey Mouse hat. In the
Mouse.
Yeah, exactly.
That was Mouse.
I love it.
He had Mickey Mouse tattooed on his arm too.
Yeah, I love it, man. I absolutely love it.
On the
And then
side next to him there, that's our drummer Richie. The
Okay.
drum tech, which is Joe McEwen. He's been with us for probably 40 some odd years as well. And obviously Rich Cox and Mouse, all wearing their glow rings.
Yeah, I bet I regret any picture of my life I took with a glow ring. Oh, that's a great shot.
Yeah, that's McEwen again as well. And
Yep.
Mouse. It's probably the same night, judging by the hat.
There's Buddy.
Yeah, Buddy's a good dude, man. I've gone out and seen him a bunch of times. I got to play with him for a while. We actually had a Sick Vicky reunion party this weekend on Saturday. He couldn't make it because he had a gig while I was there. He may have showed up afterwards, but it was anybody who played with the original drummer was invited.
Oh, excellent.
Oh, wow.
Excellent.
So he does it every couple of years.
Buddy's a great guy, man. We've had him here several times playing.
I
Him
love
and
him,
his
man.
wife are just phenomenal people.
Great hair.
Yeah, I love him.
Oh, well. I mean, he is the hairdresser aficionado. So, again, that's his wife. Like, his wife does not
I told him
walk
the
out
other
with
day, I
hair
said,
there.
when I saw him, I said, dude, do you age or not?
He doesn't. He doesn't. Look at him there. I mean, what a great picture. And Mouse looks great in that picture, man.
Yeah.
That's a great picture. Again, with that ring around his neck. I'm sorry.
This is at parties when we played with Heaven's Edge and
Nice.
Keys.
Wasn't As We Become Ghosts on that bill, too?
They were as well.
Yeah, that's great. Another great band that we love so much.
Yep, they're great guys. I love them guys.
Oh, that's another good shot.
Mike.
And you can see them. He was working the merch table right behind there.
Yeah, it's.
We still keep him working.
Harvey,
Gotta keep him going.
Commenting earlier. Harvey!
Yeah, Harvey, what's going on, buddy? Yeah, Harvey was, texting me back and forth too. We were, talking about, Vinnie and everything.
Yeah,
a lot of people loved him, man. He was a really good guy, man. Really, really good guy. It's a big loss to a community of people that loved him. So.
Yeah, he totally was. And like I said, he as you put it earlier, he wasn't just for us. He was working with Nitro. He would help out as we become hosts. He tried to book gigs for everybody.
Yeah.
And when he saw musicians, like people leading bands, oh my gosh!
Look at that. Let's talk about another '80s picture.
Yeah, that's like 1985.
Yeah, it definitely screams '80s.
How old were you there, Pat?
Woo!
I was probably about 20.
Look at that hair, baby.
Look at that, man.
Look at that hair. I love it. That's a great picture, though, man. I wish it was this blur. You know what, though? I'm going to take that picture. There is a new app that you can plug a picture like that in it, and it will clean that thing right up. I want to see
Try it out. Right, man. Send it to me when you do it.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I've been waiting for a photograph to try it on. I think that would be the photo to try it on.
That would be
awesome.
I can't wait to get the original off air.
More of that stuff.
Well, again, thank you for the photos you did send. I wish we had hundreds of more of the show, but I really ask anyone who knew him and loved him to please post stuff. Let us know let us know why you loved him the way you did. Go on our Facebook, share everything you can about Vinnie. I mean, he was just one of those guys that you wanted to be able to hang out with and be his buddy for a very, very long time.
I wanted to share this. Vinnie made this for me at the Sick Vicky 30th anniversary show. And I had just gotten back into doing music, and he had made this for me for 5 years.
What is that?
It was to celebrate the 5 years of me back in music.
Oh, this is neat. Look at that. I don't know. It's going to be hard to see for people. But, why don't we take a picture of this, and we'll also post this on our Facebook so people can get a better look at it. That's really cool. And he made this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Rich presented it to him.
Yep.
That is really neat,
We
man.
dragged your storyboard up on stage.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, let's get a
And that
picture
was
of that. Yeah.
and that was a great show. Jackie Bam Bam hosted.
Jackie. I just spoke to Jackie today about Vinnie, actually, because I wanted to see if he wanted to come on. Of course, he's got his show going, so it's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got his show going on at the same time. But Jackie does send his condolences as well. And, you spoke with him, Pat, on air.
Yep.
And we love Jackie. He's another part of the family here. And again, another, you're talking about the only rock station left in the Philadelphia area, and they know who Vinnie is, and it's a guy who, again, man, rock in heaven, baby. Rob, I got to say, I love the rock in heaven. I thought that was a really cool touch too, man. You did a good job, brother. You really did.
Yes, sir.
Yep. You did a really good job.
So here's an interesting piece. So if you're coming on Sunday,
yes, I was just I literally was just hitting that real quick.
okay.
Let me go through it real quick, Pat, and you can talk because his viewing is Sunday, July 21st, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And I might say this from the Beck Givinish Funeral Home.
Sounds about right to me.
Yep, in Levittown, PA. That's also going to be on our website. It's 7400 New Falls Road, Levittown, PA. If you now is that viewing, is that open to everyone, or is that a family?
Yeah, the viewing is open. Yes.
Okay, great. That's great. And then the memorial service is also at, of course, the 21st. That goes on at 1 p.m. Again at the funeral home. And then now is the cemetery in close to that area?
Well, he's actually getting cremated.
Oh, okay, so everything's going to be right at the funeral home.
Everything's going to be right at the funeral home.
Okay,
But we
good.
picked out songs for him to go to.
Oh wow.
Oh,
We
nice.
picked out a lot of his favorite songs, such as, as he's getting cremated, we're playing Kiss Love It Loud. Because that's what he would have wanted.
That's awesome.
And like we talked a little bit. I'm trying to just piece everything out, but we may do a tribute show for him at some point in time. We'll get a bunch of the local bands together.
We spoke about that, and I think it's a good thing. Look, this is somebody. Look, we don't ever have to let it die. We can keep it going. Like we do a tribute show, and maybe my thought was, and it was funny because I was thinking about it when I was talking to Jackie earlier today, that maybe it's something that we do that's a yearly thing, like the whatever,
like a rock and roll heaven, rock and roll angels.
Yeah, exactly, like something, the rock in heaven, Vinnie,
Mouse,
whatever, yeah, exactly, some type of show we do every year that maybe is an original band show that's just dedicated to him, and of course maybe we'll donate money to whatever was his best charitable cause, and keep something going. I would love to do something in his honor on like a yearly fashion and see if we can start it, and really make something special.
I would talk to his sister, and if we're looking at doing some kind of a yearly benefit donation thing, I would look at paralysis, diabetes, kidney failure, those kind of things. You know what I mean?
Well, paralysis is up my street too, because again, my sister was born with spina bifida, so she spent her life in a wheelchair. So I think
then maybe that's probably the focus.
Yeah, maybe we do something that hits home for everyone, and again keeps his name alive. I want to keep his name alive.
And I
do
know
too.
that he would really be really support a lot of the younger up and coming bands too. That was another thing that Mouse was always about, was what's coming up the pike. Really, what touched him with Dirty Honey as well was he loved a lot of new rock and roll what's coming up now, like always furthering that cause.
That's
entirely. And that's he left me some shoes to fill, because I feel like I've got to kind of hold the candle a little bit, or the torch, or whatever you want to put it. So I'm gonna do my best, and anything I can do to help out the local scene and the local people and the venues, I'm going to do my best.
You're welcome here, and anything you want to we want to do. Again, I can't tell you how much we felt for you guys when we first met you. Anything you want to do, anything you need to do, if we have the open dates or we can make it happen, we'd love to have you come in and do stuff and be a part of everything that's going on here. You know,
No, that'd be
especially-
awesome.
Yeah, we have our Battle of the Bands. I'm also looking for, we spoke earlier, a lot of the tribute acts that we bring in this coming year, we want to start putting local bands in front of them. Original, I don't really want a lot of cover bands.
No,
'cause
I
it's
think
kinda
that's
tough, but yeah.
probably that's the way to go. I've been talking to several of the larger tributes about bringing us on board with some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Just because they have a really good following.
Yes.
People go to see them more so than the actual band because they're not, they don't want to spend $300 to go see the band. They'd rather spend $25, $35, $50 to go see a really good tribute.
And sometimes the tributes are better than the originals out there. I mean,
That's
you look at some of the
exact-
ones touring, and you're like, oh my God, man, I'd rather see the tribute act. But now we throw these original bands up there. That gives them an outlet to be seen. Well, again, like you said, a tribute band. I get a tribute. Like I'll go back to he's a good family member here too. Is Stephen Desco.
Yep.
Desco come and do one of his shows, and he's got 400 people here.
Yep.
And what we do, because again, we don't make a lot of money in tickets. You know that a lot of that goes to the bands and goes to the house to pay for the bills. So we rely on the concession sales, to be able to have money to continue doing better stuff here and upgrading things and stuff like that. So we have to have an intermission. But we don't need an intermission because nothing sucks more than you're in the middle of a great Ozzy concert.
Yeah.
And you got to stop in the middle so that the venue can make some money. So let's bring in a local band, let them play, make our money between. That gets everybody in the door, people going in and out getting drinks. Everybody's ready to go. They do get up and down during the shows, and you're going to get that. If you're sitting through a full Ozzy show, you're going to get up and get a couple beers.
Right.
There's no need for that intermission, but we like to have it. So, we'll start these shows. I was even thinking maybe putting that local opener on a half hour early or something. We'll figure that out, but I really want to start doing that this year as we start progressing throughout the year. And because right now we're booking 2025. So anybody out there's got any good tribute bands? We're looking. Look, again, I love, I'll go back to Buddy's, Buddy Blanch, and he's got an amazing, a Van Halen band. But we're trying to give other bands a shot because we've been playing the same Van Halen bands, the same over and over. So we're trying to give other people a shot. If I see another band out there that's good, we're going to try and give them a shot. Again, we're looking at another Metallica band. I love the Four Horsemen guys, but another one came through, and I'm like, oh, man, these guys are pretty good. So I want to try and but I want to try and do that. Give these other guys a shot, too. But, again, put an original band in front of them. They can come out. They can sell their CDs, give them away. A lot of them are giving them away now, sell a T-shirt. Whatever you want to do, you can bring it here, do it. If you're one of those bands and you're wanting to open up for somebody, let us know. We have 2 shows a week, sometimes 3, sometimes 4 here. So that's an opportunity every single weekend. Okay, that's 52 weeks in a year. That's 104 bands that can get a shot to play in front of somebody this year and not have to sit in the back of a bar playing cover tunes to
Now,
make a buck.
I don't know if you guys are like me. When I would go out to see a national act, I would always get there early for the opening.
Oh, absolutely.
I
Yeah.
always, even if
yep.
I had never heard of them before, I want to see who that band is. And I think this is a perfect example,
Yep.
perfect way of furthering that tradition. Is just
always, and I've found a lot of bands that way. I found, who I felt that I really fell for. So I was friendly. We were friends for a little while. Not that anything bad happened, but people just drift apart. In the '90s with Landis Morissette. And I went to one of her shows backstage with Bare Naked Ladies. Steve was a friend of mine. And I was backstage at a show. And then she came back and she was doing her album. And she had an opener called Jason Mraz. I never heard of the guy. I didn't know who the hell he was, right? And all I saw was they were setting up a bongo and shit. I'm like, see
Jason
this guy.
Mraz is
I said, I got to go
awesome.
check that. And I'm like, holy shit, this guy was good. That's what introduced me to him. And you can find some really great bands.
the best opening band I ever saw. Opened up for Aerosmith. I think the second time I saw him was Jackal.
Jackal's great too.
blew
Yeah,
me away,
yep.
man.
Jackal's great too. And Landis had her drummer at the time was what's his name from Nirvana?
Dave Grohl.
Dave Grohl.
No, not Grohl. The other they had the other drummer. What was the other
Oh.
drummer? He would play when Dave was. I can't remember his name. I'll remember his name, but. He was another, and he was like, this Jason Mraz guy's really good, man. And I'm like, I can't, maybe it was, who? I'll have to look that up. I have to remember who her drummer was. It's been a while. It was the early, mid-'90s, late 90s. But
Bob McFadden.
no, I can't remember his name right now. But what I wanted to do real quick is, and I'm gonna hand it over to CT because CT's really known Vinnie longer. I wanted to go ahead and see if you wanted to read the obituary. And I hate, these things. I can't stand them. But this really gives you a little bit of, a good feel for why we spent, this half of the show really talking about Vinnie and the love we have for him. So, CT, if you don't mind, is that okay, my friend?
Yeah, that's good.
All right, let's go for it.
Vincent Joseph Salvia, affectionately known as Mouse to those who knew and loved him, passed away suddenly on July 10th, 2024. He was 63 years old. Born on August 5th, 1960 in Philadelphia, PA, and raised in the Feltonville section of the city. Excuse my voice. Vince was the son of the late Vincent Lewis and Joyce Ebel Salvia. Vince will forever be remembered for his larger-than-life personality, which is why he naturally rose to fame within the music industry. His love for entertainment started as a young man when he worked for his father at Vinnie's Videos, eventually becoming manager of the family business. From there, through a matter of networking the 80s rock scene and performance venues, he became well known with artists throughout the country, working lighting and sounds for concerts. He personally backed the Philly-based bands Sick Vikki and Bloody Stools. Vince was a huge fan of Kiss, Bon Jovi, Motley Crue, essentially any of the big hair bands of the era. And he would only listen to music on vinyl. There was no other way to listen to music at its best. Vince also had a special affinity for the Philadelphia Eagles, Britney Spears, big time, Lamborghinis, and spending time at the South Jersey Shore. But above all, his greatest love in life was his family, which brought him the utmost joy and fulfillment in life. He was taken too soon from their lives, but will forever be loved and cherished in their hearts. Vince is survived by his loving sister, Patty, I'm going to butcher her last name, Megan Cauda, Gino, his brother, Anthony Salvia, Brenda, his beloved Shawnee Welsh, who is as close to his son as one could be, and his dearest nieces, nephews, cousins, and numerous extended family members and friends. He was predeceased by his sister, Lenora Salvia, in 2021. Family and friends are invited to Vince's life celebration on Sunday, July 21st, 2024, from 11 to 1 at Beck Givenish Funeral Home, 7400 New Falls Road, Levittown, PA, 19055, followed by a time for words of remembrance at 1 p.m. If so inclined, recommend a local florist, order flowers, ftdfloristonline.com.
Yeah, there's that's a little link there to send flowers from a local florist if you want to send flowers. And again, I can't thank you enough, Pat, for coming on. And this podcast goes out and we get a good 10,000 views, a week, by the time the next Tuesday rolls around. And I really want people to know how some of these, and you even saw in some of the pictures, you saw Harvey back there and people like that. There's this community in South Jersey. I never realized until we opened this facility and started doing what we do, how great and connected some of the people are down here. And I think that's what I love. And again, I went on a little rant earlier about other venues. This is what makes us different. We really do care. We're not, it's pretty evident, in the way we live, in the cars that we drive. I mean, and the things that we do, that we're not here for the money. We really do love what we do. And it's true. Steve and I literally enjoy doing video and lighting together. Mm-hmm. And when you have the ability to be around bands, again, like as we become Ghosts, Sick Vikki, and all these local acts and these local artists, and even the ones that are coming down now from New York, and you get to be a part of what they do and make what they do even better, in maybe in a visual way and stuff. Oh, I love being a part of this. And when you find a person like Vinnie, who's connected to this, and we know a lot of these guys since we've been here, Kevin, we call him Kevin, but his name's not really Kevin. But Schmitty, he's another one. Look at Joe, who of course was our front of house for years, and we lost him, during the COVID era. I mean, these are people that have had a really good tie, to this music scene in South Jersey. They know a lot of people, and we've grown to love them.
And I really got to say, and I think Vinnie would have agreed with me, and I think Pat will agree with me as well. when I was doing my own thing and I came across what you guys were doing, there was no purpose in running two side by side when I saw exactly what you guys were doing, where it was exactly what I was doing, which is why I really wanted to join with you guys, because I feel together as a community and as a family, we can really further this scene,
Hell yeah.
and it means a whole lot more.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And the great thing is, with technology and all that we have, sponsors and things of that nature, we can get more things done and do things, a little bit better and really bring a lot of this stuff to life. I cannot wait for the Twisted Tea Ballad of Bands. Yeah. I just want to see these local bands, man. I'm excited. We know a couple of them, but some of them I've never heard of. I love that local scene. And I'll agree. Look, I'm the first person. I'll listen to one song and go, "I'll be back. Tell me when the next band starts." But then you come out and it's like the comedy show this past weekend. You're like, "Holy crap, this band's good, man!" Yeah. And you can't fault here. Steve just put a whole new sound system in upstairs, a whole new mixer and everything. We've got great sound upstairs. It's not like going to a bar, setting your drum up into a corner, and beating the shit out of a couple speakers you brought. We have a nice PA system. We have a nice sound system. And we really want to bring that to light. And I'm going to think of something, Pat, and we're going to find something that we can put, Vinnie's name on that becomes a yearly event that we do here. And I do. I really fell for this guy. And again, just some of I was going back. I had to. And just some of the stinking messages we sent back and forth to each other. Just talking about music. I'm like, out of nowhere. He would text, and I would just go back and forth a little bit. We'd talk about something. What a great guy, man.
I'll tell you, I was having a hard time with my diabetes. He called me from the hospital to ream my ass out about taking care of myself while he's sitting in the hospital struggling.
Yep.
That's who Vinnie was.
Yep.
Well, Vinnie, I can tell you were missed, my friend, by many, many people. People's lives you probably don't even know you touched in one way or another. And you will be missed, my friend. And, Godspeed. I look at that picture, that was made, and all I can think of is, he's walking up those steps right now and hoping that when Aerosmith and Kiss and all those guys get there, that they're back to where they were back in the 70s.
I really thought about that today. I really thought about that with Vinnie today was, I wonder if they're releasing new music in heaven. And some of the albums that maybe we get to listen to when we get there.
Yeah, but he doesn't have it on vinyl anymore, baby. He's got it live.
Dude, he's got it better than he's ever had.
Jim Morrison was up there going, "Hey, are you Mouse?"
Yeah, see, what's really cool is with the contacts that he made that helped us out. We ended up working with Nick Dia. You might recognize his name.
Yes.
His brother Mark was the king of dirt in Philadelphia back in the 80s and early 90s. They had metal shop in the Homeland Yards. And his brother Nick ended up being our studio engineer almost till we stopped recording. All of our demos, he did everything. So he cut his teeth with us and several other local bands and went on to do Pearl Jam and Train.
Yeah.
And he's got recording Grammys now. He's living in Australia. We reached out to him and got in contact with him as well because they were good friends and they talked a couple times a month. Well, they didn't talk to email because of the time difference. But they did chat a lot.
Oh, that's good, man. Again, Pat, we love you here. You and I have sent some really good texts back. You're a wonderful human being. And we really hope we can find a way to get you more involved as well, because we would love that. And again, we're gonna really work on some way to honor Mouse, because again, he was just one of those people in this music scene that it's a name I want people to come get. Who's the Mouse guy? This is named after. Who's this guy? What is this? And be able to tell them exactly who he was. And say, man, you should have known the guy, man, because the second you met him, you'd have fell in love with him. That's without a doubt. And I really did, man. I really did. I mean, I can sit here right now and remember standing at the booth, looking over the wall, and he was down there, and Pat, you were standing next to him, and we were talking about the next show. You know what I mean? Literally talking about what's going to be the next show and what are we going to do next. And, my heart's broken, and I know yours is. And we love you, Pat.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, brother. Thank you again.
We'll chat about what you want to do, and if anything I can do to help out or play, or if you need us for anything, just let me know.
Same here, my friend. Same here. We're here for you. Again, we're going to put all this stuff up on our website. I know CT's going to try and make it Sunday. I'm going to have to see what we can do. Levittown's a ride, and we actually have, unfortunately, we have the Battle of the Bands starting on Sunday.
Oh, gotcha.
So, and then we also have an event with Pacheco, Julio Pacheco, Isaiah Pacheco, the
Yeah, I got a
Super Bowl
couple of
champions
people
down
that were
there.
important to Mouse that already had like booked vacations and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And I was trying to get them to work on it and see what they could do. But I'm not going to make me spend $1,000 to like fly back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
well,
got
we're going to see what we can do. We're going to see what we can do and maybe possibly make it happen. Because our thing didn't start till 2, but it's just like I said, we just got to look at the timing of everything. But
yeah,
again,
that's going to be 2 o'clock's going to be rough.
it's going to be tough. But again, Pat, I want to thank you again for coming on. Thank you for being the friend you were to such a wonderful human being who's going to be missed by so many people. Thank you for the photographs you shared with us. And again, Vinnie, we know you're up there looking down, and if there was a way to comment from heaven, I know damn well your comments would be at the bottom of that screen right now, my friend. All right. Good night, Pat.
Thank you, everybody.
Take care, my brother. Take care. God bless him. What a great guy, man. For you guys that don't know Pat either, he's just a wonderful person. And yeah, Casey, you can put that back up. And again, Rob, what a great job, man. I mean, that says it all. Look at the somber look in his face. You know what I mean? And the love that he had for that guy. And I love the mouse with the mouse on it. Rob, great job, man. Great job. Take care, Vinny. You know, it was nice knowing you, brother. And we're gonna miss you, man. We're gonna miss you. It's tough. It's really tough. And thank you for everyone that kind of tuned in. I mean, I think there's we ended a little late last week, and I think maybe we'll end a little early this week. There's no sense in doing sponsors and things again. If we want to put his picture up one more time and say thank you, everyone. Have a good night from the Absolute Vodka live at the Landis podcast. For myself, Steven, and CT. God bless you all. And rock in heaven, Vinny. We love you, buddy.